and Marquise Goodman has 98, Hollywood Brown 97, and John Ross has a 97. So it just goes to show you what people think of, what they think of Lamar Jackson's speed. I actually think, I still don't know, it's hard for me to imagine that Lamar Jackson could outrun Michael Vick in the sprint line. Yeah.
Well, even Michael said on our show he thinks that Lamar's a little faster. No? Oh, interesting. So I don't care about the speed as much as I do the QB rating on Madden.
Yeah.
Because Lamar started the season the 24th ranked quarterback, and at least they've gradually upped him to 7. He's now the 7th ranked, and you know what? I think he should be vying for the top spot, at least the top couple of spots, right?
I mean, 96, that's pretty good, though, Skip. I mean, Mecole Hardman also has a 96, and we know he can...
On speed.
On speed.
Yeah.
So we know he can run.
Yeah.
But for Lamar Jackson, it's just unbelievable to see the transformation this guy's going through in less than a year.
It is.
We are watching it. That is it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. Thanksgiving Day. Right now, Colin tells you why the Cowboys should still be very worried about the Eagles. The herd starts right now.
Oh, here we go on an absolutely packed Wednesday, our final show of the week, so we're moving everything up. This is The Herd live in L.A. However you may be listening, wherever you may be listening, we have Blazing 5 today in 1 hour. We have Greg Cosell today. We have Joel Klatt today. We have Getting It Right yelling at me today. We have Bucky Brooks today. Again, the Blazing 5 today. We're moving everything up. Our final show of the week, and Joy Taylor is joining me as we get ready for not only eating tomorrow, but 4 days of amazing football, starting with the Cowboys-Bills. Tomorrow's a huge game to keep your eye on.
Jerry's everywhere today.
He is. So Jerry is still fuming. It's Wednesday. Jerry gets mad after games. He'll go down and he fumes a little. If they lose a road game, they should win, or they lose a home game, they should win. It is Wednesday and Jerry Jones is still fuming. Here he is this morning on the NFL Network.
No one in this country has earned the right to say, I'm a Jason Garrett man more than me. I am his man. The bottom line is we get graded. I'm in business. I don't have to win the Super Bowl in business every year. I can come in 6th and have a hell of a year. But in this business, you've got to come in first. You've got to come in first. And so fundamentally, you've asked for something that's a very narrow window to begin with.
He's still fuming, and he went on live TV today knowing he would be asked questions about Jason Garrett. So he wants the message out. This is one of these things, if as an owner, you would just say, I can't do this interview. You'd cancel, say, I've got big business. We have people cancel all the time on our show when they don't want a message out or they know we're going to ask a tough question. Jerry knew the question was coming, and he went on live TV to answer it and double and triple and quadruple down on it. They're looking for a new coach. I want you to think about this. Is it worse than we think? Just some context here. So when I say Philadelphia Eagles this year, you think of two things. Massive injuries, and Carson Wentz appears broken. Does everybody get that Philadelphia is one game back of Dallas? And Philadelphia hosts Dallas later. That Philadelphia's next 3 opponents, Miami, Washington, and the Giants, a mess. Dallas has 8-3 Buffalo, at Chicago in horrible weather, and then Sean McVay and the Rams. Folks, everything has gone wrong for Philadelphia this year. They started the year, they had cluster injuries in the secondary. I've never seen it. They didn't have enough cornerbacks on their roster. Then their offensive line loses their left tackle. Carson Wentz appears broken. Last Sunday, they were missing 6 offensive starters. And Philadelphia, over the next 3 weeks, is going to be heavily favored to win each game. And Dallas, very reasonably, could lose 2. When you step back, it is worse than we think. Philadelphia should be done. Philadelphia in Baltimore's division would be done. In New England's division would be done. In San Francisco, Seattle's division would be done. In the Minnesota Packer division would be done. Philadelphia's got a quarterback that's broken, an offensive line and a secondary and a wide receiving core in major crisis all year. and they're a 10-point favorite, are the Eagles to win this weekend. So there are those speculating. Remember, Dallas's quarterback has had a very good year. Carson Wentz is broken. Philadelphia has had massive physical crisis all year. Dallas, outside of Van Der Esch, mostly been healthy. So you start lining stuff up. There's a reason that Jerry, it's Wednesday. He goes on live TV. He didn't duck the interview. He wants the message out. There are those speculating if they lose to Buffalo tomorrow, they could fire Jason Garrett in season. I don't see that happening. I do think they beat Buffalo, but it is remarkable when you juxtapose the Eagles, who get Dallas at home before the end of the year in bad weather, and Dallas. This race should be over. This should not be close. One quarterback's broken. One's having his best year. One team's been decimated. One team's been mostly healthy. Very interesting in Dallas. All right, so every Thanksgiving we eat a lot. We gorge tomorrow, right? My game plan with Thanksgiving's always been eat 2 small meals. I'll eat a light Thanksgiving dinner, and then I'll go back at about 9:30 after a nap, and I'll have another one. So I'll eat twice tomorrow. I'll go less is more on both. I tend to be a less is more person. I don't stay out that late. I don't party that hard. I like nice stuff, but I'm usually in bed early. I'm a less is more guy. I've been arguing this with TV executives forever. Less people on TV, fewer voices. Don't put 13 people on a set. It gets lost. You ever watch CNN during their election coverage? They have like 42 people. Just give me, a real strong person and an analyst and maybe a third, and then I'm out. And let's talk about the election. So last night, the playoff committee comes out. Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Clemson 3, Georgia 4, Alabama 5, Utah 6. My takeaway is, as I've been saying all year, the committee wants 2 SEC teams in. And they're going to get 2 SEC teams in. SEC teams are getting in, 2 of them. That's what they want. That's what they've been doing all year. Meaning if Alabama beats Auburn and looks ugly, they'll get in over Utah regardless of what the Utes do. But college football has always in my life, less has always worked for college football because college football is the one sport that has urgency. You have to watch the games. You can't lose 2 games. Everybody this year, here's all I hear. We got to go to an 8-team playoff. 8 teams is the solution. More. I want you to think about this. Yesterday, when they made this release of the playoff rankings, none of us even liked the number 4 team this year. Georgia at home got smoked by a bad South Carolina team. The number 5 team, Alabama's using a backup quarterback. They've played one good team, they lost. Utah lost to USC, and USC was on their 3rd string quarterback. If you start looking at the teams ranked just below Alabama 5 and Utah 6, Penn State 9 and 2. Could sneak in if we had an 8-team playoff. Really? Penn State's played 2 really good teams. They lost to both. Minnesota's 10-1. If we had an 8-team playoff and they beat Wisconsin, they could get in. Minnesota started the year out of conference by struggling against South Dakota State, Fresno State, and Georgia Southern. They beat Georgia Southern 35-32. Wisconsin beats Minnesota. They could get into an 8-team playoff. They lost to Illinois as a 25-point favorite. You all want 8 teams. You all want more. College football has always been better with less. College football, even more so than we got 162 Major League Baseball games. We got 82 hockey games. We got 82 NBA games. NFL wants to add to their schedule and give us now, 17 or 18 games. College football's always been, you got to watch Saturday. You call your buddy, Clemson's down to Louisville. You all watch this game. If they lose this game, and you want to add more. Who would be in this year? A Minnesota team that struggled with Georgia Southern and lost to the best team they've played? I mean, what do you want? I look at college football this year, and I see 3 exceptional teams. Ohio State's the best football team I've seen. Clemson's the 2nd best football team I've seen, although it is hard to get your arms around Clemson because the conference they play in is just so awful, but I think they're great. because they have a great coach, a great quarterback, and great playmakers. And then the third best team I've seen is LSU, which has a regrettable defense. By SEC standards, a remarkably bad defense for a team that's going to win the SEC, but they're spectacular on offense. Quarterback, running back, wide receivers. It's LSU, athletes everywhere. But we always want more. Ask yourself in an 8-team playoff this morning, who would be the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8 teams? Really? People struggling? People losing to South Carolina at home? People losing the only 2 games they've played against good teams, Penn State? Just a thought. Nick Wright joins us before the end of the hour. Also at the top of next hour, our Blazing 5. We are moving our Blazing 5 up today. We do it on Fridays. And, you know, I've never really done a Thanksgiving Blazing 5, but I love my picks this week. I've got my arms around the league right now. I feel very good. So I thought I've had 9 winning weeks in 12 weeks of our Blazing 5. 9 of 12 winning weeks on Fox Bet that pays you. So I thought, let's reward the audience this year. Let's do a Blazing 5. I love all my picks this week. That's coming up. But next, you know, I've said for years, I like Aaron Rodgers. We went a little gaga over him. And I love Russell Wilson, and we've never quite understood his greatness. Interesting numbers this year with Aaron Rodgers. You have guaranteed me, you have told me Mike McCarthy was the issue. Some startling numbers with Aaron Rodgers as we head into the Thanksgiving weekend. That's coming up. Plus Nick Wright. You know, home security is something you would think everybody would at least consider, but only 1 in 5 homes have it. This week, Simply Safe is offering my listeners their best deal of the year. 25% off any new system plus a free HD security camera. You hear me sing the praises of Simply Safe. Okay, you get everything you need. Entry sensors, motion sensors, video doorbells, a smart lock, security cameras, plus 24/7 professional monitoring. And they have police dispatch, which is 3.5 times faster than other security systems. If you've been sitting on the fence, now's the time to make a move because of this offer. 25% off your system, plus a free security camera. Never been offered before. Just go to simplysafecolin.com, simplysafecolin.com.
Best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Exxon and Mobil are introducing new Synergy Supreme Plus. It keeps your engine 2 times cleaner for better gas mileage. That's why they've asked me, Mr. Supremium, to be their spokesperson. Everything of mine is Supremium. My ascot wears an ascot. It's Supremium.
She wanted to move someplace warm.
But he wanted snow for the holidays. So we built a snow globe.
I'll get that later.
But the one thing we could both agree on was getting Geico to help with our homeowner's insurance.
What? Switching and saving was really easy.
I love you!
Sweetie, hands off the glass.
Call Geico and see how easy saving on homeowners and condo insurance can be.
I love her! Number 1 Ohio State takes on number 13 Michigan in the most anticipated rivalry game of the year. America's best pregame, America's best announcers, all part of Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
This December on Fox.
I just want this Christmas to be special.
It will be. You are going to put up ornaments and you're going to hang tinsel, but I think really, really festive.
Festive's a relative.
Festive.
The Moody's Christmas, a 3-night event, December 4th on Fox.
I am an Instagram boyfriend, but now that rolled chicken tacos are back at Taco Bell,
Sun's had hard hands.
my
hands are tied. Let's just enjoy this moment.
Take the picture.
Rolled chicken tacos are back with your choice of dips, only at Taco Bell.
Look. Only one thing's more exciting than getting a Lexus. Giving one. The Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Lease the 2020 NX 300 for $329 a month for 27 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Really?
Traditional day.
We get set on Thanksgiving.
A divisional rivalry takes center stage.
Here we go.
Khalil Mack leads a hungry Bears team, ready to feast as they take on the Lions in a Thanksgiving showdown. Coverage begins tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Russell Wilson goes on the road. Weather's awful. Sacked 6 times. Under siege all day. 4 drops. On the road. And he finds a way to win. 6 straight years. 7 after this year. He'll have been sacked 40 or more times. Never had a losing season. Never made an excuse. Never thrown a teammate under the bus. In this league, when things aren't going perfectly, how are you? Russell Wilson keeps you in every game and wins most of them. You know, so much of this league is how you deal when things go sideways. And Seattle, and not just because I'm from there and not just because I love Russell Wilson, but God, they just figure it out. This whole thing about Lamar won't last. What does in this league outside of New England? Nothing lasts. By the way, I don't know if this lasts, but what I know is it's great now. That gets you another contract as a coach, great now. And the other thing is, I don't think it's a fad or I don't think it's a trick. You just, in this league, you take what you can get. You've got to evolve. You got to roll the dice sometimes. Take New England out of it. Best coach ever, best quarterback ever, one of the best owners ever. Take the best offensive line coach ever. The rest of the league, be great now. It's okay to siphon off a little of the 401k to get rich now. I just love... Everybody is so freaked out about, will this running stuff last? All these running quarterbacks work. Most don't last, but Russell Wilson's lasting. He never gets hit. And Kyler Murray, he's a baseball guy like Russell. Nobody's getting hits on him. Steve Young ran around for years. He ended up in the Hall of Fame. Lamar's on the best team now. Will it last? Most stuff in life doesn't last. I've said this before. Nothing lasts forever. Win now. Roll the dice.
Colin Unfiltered was sponsored by Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Great news. Easy way to save money. Switch to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Geico.com. Geico.com. Great to have you in. 50 minutes from now, 45 actually, our Blazing 5. I'm moving it up this week. 9 of 12 winning week, so congrats to those on Fox Bet who have followed us and won money. I have Greg Cosell today, Nick Wright in 10 minutes. It's nice to have you back in. Joy Taylor joining me as always on Thanksgiving Eve. Big football game starting tomorrow. So I was assured, and people think, and I've said this, I've always liked Russell Wilson more than the experts, and I've never liked Aaron Rodgers quite as much as the experts. So let's be fair going in. Aaron's a little condescending. I think he struggles in relationships with, I've seen his family call him out, sometimes on the sideline by himself. There's things about his leadership and arrogance, condescending, I don't like, but I think Aaron's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I don't think he's a bad guy. Russell Wilson comes in on a defensive team with a legendary coach. He's a little shorter. He runs too much. 3rd round pick. I think Russell Wilson's the most underrated player of my lifetime in the National Football League. And I'm dead serious when I say that. I think Russell Wilson over time is now better than Aaron Rodgers. I don't even doubt that for a second. And so I was told this year 2 things. Firing Mike McCarthy would solve everything. Okay. And I was also told You got to give Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur time. Give them to Thanksgiving, as was kind of the refrain from everybody. Okay, that's fair. So Mike McCarthy's a bum, won a Super Bowl, but a bum. And that you give Matt LaFleur 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks. Give him to Thanksgiving before you start judging. All right, so here's the numbers this year without Mike McCarthy. Completion percentage, Aaron Rodgers, 17th in the NFL. Passer rating, 12th. Touchdowns tied for 10th. That's with a star wide receiver, a star running back, and a very talented tight end. A running back better than Russell Wilson, a star receiver better than Russell's, and Russell doesn't throw much to the tight end. Okay. Colin, that's not fair. Let's start judging him last couple of weeks. Matt LaFleur was new. Okay, you're right. My bad. Let's go to the last 3 weeks. Aaron's 1-2. In 3 weeks, 2 touchdown passes and an 82 passer rating. Whereas everybody works immediately with Russell Wilson. You want me to now give him 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 weeks to make all these young receivers work. Okay. Do you realize Aaron Rodgers this year, his completion percentage of passes over 10 yards is 45%. He didn't have one against San Francisco. Not one. Russell Wilson has the 31st rated pass blocking offensive line. Went into the teeth of San Francisco with less weapons and beat them. Aaron Rodgers off a bye. Game was over in 8 minutes. Aaron Rodgers, I keep hearing about his offensive line. Aaron Rodgers, under pressure this year, has a passer rating of 75. Russell Wilson, with a lower-rated offensive line, has a passer rating of 94. Russell wins more. Aaron Rodgers has a career losing record on the road. Russell Wilson is 16-4 in his last 20 in the Eastern time zone in geographically isolated Seattle. Longer flight, longer trip. Russell Wilson wins more in a tougher division. He wins more close games in a tougher division. He wins on the road more in a tougher division. Everybody works instantly with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson doesn't need everything to be perfect. He's got a defensive coach who largely didn't acknowledge him for 3 years as part of the winning. It was Marshawn Lynch. It was the great defense. It was just recently Pete's really put his arms around him. So Mike McCarthy was going to solve everything, right? And let's give Matt LaFleur time. I watched Russell Wilson against San Francisco. Single-handedly, with a gadget wide receiver, a rookie wide receiver, brand new Josh Gordon, a pass-blocking line that can't block, go to San Francisco and single-handedly keep Seattle afloat and win the game. Aaron Rodgers off a bye. Week 11, blown out 8 minutes. That's all I'm saying. I don't think I'm a hater. I think Russell Wilson today is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, and I don't even think it's close. I'm watching it week after week after week. Joy with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, Jerry's been a little critical of his coaches after the tough loss to the Patriots on Sunday.
Not slowing down.
No. Troy Aikman saw all of it firsthand from the broadcast booth, and he thinks the Cowboys' issues run much deeper than just coaching. He said it's easy to say as an owner or general manager or as anyone else in the organization, oh, it's coaching. It runs deeper than that. There have been a lot of coaches that have come through the organization, and the results have been pretty familiar from one season to the next. I think just saying we have this great roster and it's all about coaching, I think that's a little bit of a cop-out.
What's he saying there? Is he blaming Jerry? Who's he blaming?
I don't know, but he basically said it's been consistent despite the changes that have been made internally. So what is consistent? No, I don't think that it's Jerry's fault. Jerry runs a very functional, very profitable, very well-run organization.
Listen, they draft as well as anybody. They really do. They draft football players out of college about as well as anybody in the NFL.
Here's the thing about the Dallas Cowboys. They are America's team, right? And what I'm going to say is probably going to be infuriating to some people, but they don't have Super Bowl standards. They haven't been to the Super Bowl in a very long time. Decades, in fact.
Well, They haven't been to the NFC Championship since the mid-'90s. Well, the question with standards is they want to get there.
Well, everybody wants to get to a Super Bowl. I want to be a supermodel, but I really don't. But, everybody wants, incredible achievements, but what are you actually doing? Are you in that conversation? The Cowboys literally haven't been in that conversation in a very long time. As of recent with Dak, you feel like, and having the talent that they have, that they should be in that conversation. But the Steelers, the Patriots, those are organizations that have Super Bowl expectations. Now, if you look at the Steelers this year, obviously it doesn't look that way, but every single year you go into a Steelers season, they are supposed to be competing for a Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys haven't been to a Super Bowl in a long time. So, yes, there are those expectations. But here's the issue with Jerry, who I think is a great owner and obviously runs a very well-run organization. Who are you going to get in there that's going to have the power and control? You're not going to have a Belichick. That's not for the Cowboys. That's not for you.
In summation, is a very good point. If you really have Super Bowl standards, you have to give your organization to a coach who calls all the shots.
That's never going to happen.
I know.
And you're not going to get a coach who has Super Bowl level talents and coaching who's going to just submit to being publicly humiliated.
That's fair. I think those are fair points.
So manage your expectations based off of who you are.
That's fair.
I will never be a supermodel. I'm okay with that.
Hey, I am just a nose, a couple of ears, and a fuller head of hair from being Clooney. I've got some obstacles, but I'm working my way to it.
Keep working towards that. So we could be watching a Super Bowl preview when the 49ers and the Ravens play on Sunday in Baltimore.
Lordy.
This is going to be a great game. But this is strange. Even though the 49ers are 10-1 this season, they are big underdogs in this game.
And that line's moved. It was 4.5, so I think it's now up to 5.5.
They're a 6-point favorite, the Ravens. Fox Bet has the Ravens as a 6-point favorite, which makes San Francisco the first 10-1 underdog in over a decade. So the last time it happened was in 2007 in the game between the Packers and the Cowboys, who were both 10-1. Now, the Ravens have outscored opponents 202-62 in the last 5 games, playing the Seahawks, Patriots, Bengals, Texans, and Rams. So that's pretty decent, especially considering the opponents that they've had.
Right.
They're first in rushing, 210.5 yards per game. And the 49ers have the 19th ranked rushing defense.
I like Baltimore here.
Allowing 111.1 yards per game. So I do like Baltimore, but 6 points is a lot. Now, it is in Baltimore.
Baltimore's one of those places. When I think of Baltimore, I just think of tough and great at home. That's just the brand I have. They are tough. When's the last finesse team Baltimore had? And that's why Lamar really fits their culture, which is we're going to run right at you. We're going to be hyper aggressive on defense, and you're not beating us at home.
No, Baltimore has always been that team that you're going to take whatever they give you.
What's remarkable? Cleveland went into Baltimore and kicked the you-know-what out of them. Remember that? It was like 2 months ago. Cleveland went in there and just crushed them.
Any given Sunday. I don't think that's going to happen the second time.
I agree.
Finally, Anthony Davis will return to New Orleans tonight for the first time since being traded to the Lakers.
Yeah.
He admits he does have some nerves about the environment he'll be walking into, but he's also very excited for this matchup.
So when I go back, I'm going to have mixed emotions. And it's all because a great 6.5 years, and then that last half, it was, so it was just like, I know the fans gonna boo me. I got booed when I was still playing there. It's gonna be a fun game. I think that's a game of the year for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I've never been to it.
By the way, they booed me when I was there, so what's the big deal?
He is going to get booed, that's for sure. LeBron said he's coaching AD on what to expect and how to prepare for his old team. Obviously entered a hostile environment when the Cleveland and the Heat played for the first time in 2010.
I saw the San Antonio game. I watched the replay of it the other night. It was on, and I watched about an hour of it. The Lakers' ball movement for a bunch of new guys is so good.
That's why LeBron is averaging
it looks like
most assists in the league right now.
It looks like the Lakers offensively. We knew defensively their length, but God, offensively they just move the ball really well.
They have incredible chemistry. All questions about whether Anthony Davis was going to work with LeBron James have been shut down. Now, this isn't really the New Orleans matchup we were kind of hoping for. Lonzo's questionable, obviously. They still don't have Zion. So it's from the New Orleans side. the Lakers are probably going to win big, but it's an emotional night for AD, so it'll be an interesting watch.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Live
30 minutes from now, our Blazing 5. We move it up to Wednesday. Greg Cosell's being moved up. It's very interesting. I have had trouble evaluating Dak. I didn't like him out of college. Then I was very reluctant. Then year 2, I bought in, and I like his intangibles, although sometimes his tangibles, as Doug Gottlieb once said, aren't great. It's very interesting because I'm going to bring in Nick Wright, my buddy, first things first, via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. Now Nick has been not anti-Dak, but has always questioned. His eyes are telling him he's not elite when you see the Lamars and you see the Mahomes and you see the Russell Wilsons. I got to give Nick credit here. My staff dug this up this morning. In the 4 games against winning teams, playoff teams this morning, Dak has 5 touchdowns, 6 picks, 82 passer rating, and 61% completion percentage. So I have struggled with Dak because we call him on the staff, he's the trust fund quarterback. He inherited a great O-line, great weapons, Zeke. So this morning, where are you on Dak, Nick, after that New England game where he was off and the offense loaded with weapons couldn't do anything?
I'm not going to kill him for the New England game because that is, even if aside from Gilmore, it doesn't have all-time personnel, that is an all-time pass defense that has made everyone except for Lamar look bad, and Lamar did most of his damage with his legs, and Dak up until the New England game was having the best year of his career. But my squeamishness with Dak has less to do with this season, his play, and more to do with the play of 2 of his classmates draft-wise. Carson Wentz had an MVP-level season in 2017.
Yeah.
They paid him. They paid him earlier than they had to. And he has been awful this year, and his team is not any good. Jared Goff didn't have an MVP-level 2018, but he had a very, very good 2018. They paid him. They paid him earlier than they had to. He is the 32nd ranked passer in the league this year, and that team has no path forward. Dak Prescott this year matches up to Wentz in 17, Goff in 18. Unless you believe he can be this every year, then once you pay him, you are only going to be able to compete at a high level when he is this. This is the problem with paying anyone that isn't Russell or Rodgers, who I know you're low on, or Mahomes when he does get paid. You can still compete for Super Bowls the years they're really good. Kirk Cousins is playing great this year. They will compete. Matt Ryan, the year he won the MVP, they made it to the Super Bowl. But the moment your quarterback play drops off even just a bit, Cousins last year, Matt Ryan the last couple years, your team has no path forward. That's the bucket I would put Dak in. Cousins, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton when he was healthy, very good, but flawed. When you pay those guys, you really don't have as many paths to victory as you would like.
Now, Tom Brady in that game, I thought in terms of throwing the football, and Tom's always been a very good lousy weather thrower of the football. He is. One of the best games I've ever seen him play was in a snowstorm in Chicago about 4 years ago, and they blew out the Bears. He had 6 drops. He didn't have his number 2 and number 3 receiver. The running game this year has been very spotty. I thought Tom actually played very well. The numbers don't indicate it, but the numbers don't tell you how great Russell Wilson is. And a lot of Sundays he wins, and you're like, blah. You are not on the. You think Brady's a shot fighter. I don't see it. You do. Why?
All right, real quick, I apologize. I didn't mean to do this during the segment, but I got to let me pick up all those excuses you dropped on the ground. All right, I got them. There we go. You mentioned Russell Wilson doesn't look great. Well, he looks good enough to have a top 3 passer rating in the NFL this year. Brady's outside the top 20. Russell Wilson looks good enough to have 24 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Meanwhile, Tom Brady in the last month has led 3 extended field touchdown drives. Listen, this is the GOAT quotient that you get when you're the greatest to ever do it. Even your failures are celebrated. I heard you say it right there. And our good friend Troy Aikman said it on the broadcast, Tom Brady gets applauded for incomplete passes. That's what makes him great, knowing when to throw the ball away. I mean, the great presence. And things that otherwise for other quarterbacks are called, oh, he threw that late and behind him because it scrapes off his fingertips. Those are called drops for one Thomas Edward Brady III, who I know is your adopted son. With that said, I'm not out on the Pats because I have seen this movie before. In 2013, Peyton Manning was the league MVP. They went to the Super Bowl and lost. In 2014, he was very good, but not as good. And in 2015, he was a shot fighter, and they won the Super Bowl thanks to a defense. In 2017, Tom Brady was a league MVP. They went to the Super Bowl and lost. In 2018, he was good, but not as good. In 2019, he's a shot fighter. But by the way, he's not what Peyton was in 15. Peyton in 15 was awful.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's not awful right now. He's just below average. But the defense is sensational, and where I will give him credit is this. He understands how good the defense is, and he does not make the killer mistake.
Yes.
He does not give the ball to the other team. He is a great game manager at this moment. But everyone is waiting for Tom Brady to activate the GOAT juice and all of a sudden drive. Everyone says to me, would you want to see him down 4, 2 minutes left? Wouldn't you be afraid? And I say, well, last year he was down 4 with 2 minutes left in the AFC Championship game and threw a pick to lose the game. Now they got bailed out and then he ends up driving the field. He's not even that good anymore. So no, I'm not worried about Brady, but Belichick and that defense and home field advantage might be able to drag Brady across the finish line.
You know, I talked about Aaron Rodgers. The previous 3 weeks, I saw Kyler Murray, who's way better than anybody thinks, but nobody watches Arizona football games. I do because I like a social life on Sunday. And Russell Wilson. So I've seen Kyler twice and Russell in the last 3 weeks give San Francisco's defensive line problems, and I think Lamar will do the same this weekend. Aaron Rodgers off a bye was done in 8 minutes. Well, the offensive line. Russell Wilson has the second worst offensive line pass blocking in the league. I know Aaron's talented, but Mike McCarthy was the root of all problems. Matt LaFleur, wait until Thanksgiving. I'm at Thanksgiving, Nick, and Aaron is just in a league full of dynamic, fascinating, gifted, talented young guys. He doesn't pop for me anymore. He's really talented. I'm over that part. I want more wins on the road. Isn't that at least fair?
Listen, I think that Aaron might have missed his window to win his next Super Bowl. Now, I still think the Packers can make it to the Super Bowl this year, but they have to avoid the Niners. That matchup's not changing.
Yeah.
They're going to need someone to beat up their bully for them. So they're going to need the bracket to fall to where the Niners have to play San Francisco or Seattle again, or is someone that can beat them, because what we're seeing on tape right there, that would repeat itself. And your critique of Aaron, I think, is fair to a degree. In this matchup, he did not do well. He was not as escapable as Kyler. He didn't do as good of a job taking care of the football as Russell Wilson, even though Russell threw the one bad pick in overtime against the Niners. I still believe that Aaron Rodgers has one last, I don't want to say gasp, but one last great run in him. But much like where Carmelo Anthony, and I'm not comparing Aaron to Carmelo, but follow me here. LeBron has tricked us on what you're supposed to look like in year 17. Like, D-Wade is out, Bosch is out, CP3's on his way out in year 15, Dwight's on his way out in year 16. Melo's looking at his buddy LeBron and saying, why can't that be me? Breeze and Brady might have tricked us into thinking, oh, these quarterbacks into late 30s are going to continue to be sensational. Well, Big Ben's elbow popped. Eli Manning's been benched. Phillip Rivers does not look good to me. Aaron Rodgers, that next group right after those guys. So I don't know if Brady and Breeze might have, the LeBron ageless gene while everyone else ages on a mere mortal rate. I worry that Aaron's one of those guys. And if that's the case, that puts even more importance on this season. And one last note, if I may, and this is to your point. You can take this from me after this. Let's just pretend you came up with it. Since Rodgers has been the quarterback of the Packers.
Yes.
The Niners have gone through nearly a dozen coaches, GMs, quarterbacks, right?
Right.
In that stretch, the Green Bay Packers have 3 first-round buys. The Niners, 3 first-round buys. The Green Bay Packers, 2 first-round buys and 2 first-round buys. The Green Bay Packers have been to 3 NFC championship games. The Niners, 3 NFC championship game appearances. They both went to 1 Super Bowl. Obviously, Aaron won and Cap didn't. I say that to say this. If you say he's underachieved in a decade there, when the Niners have the same postseason resume with all their coaches, all their quarterbacks, all their front offices, it's hard to argue against it.
Yeah. I'm out of time. It was a pleasure to see you. Thanksgiving with the fam, I imagine, in New York for you. You're going to get cold weather. You're doing very well. We're very happy for you. But you know what? That's what you do to friends. You allow friends to feel that they want an argument.
That's what we do to friends. And I will be, as some FS1 employees, I will be tirelessly working on Thanksgiving before I spend time with my family. You, I assume, will be skiing. So I hope you have a wonderful time. I'm not bitter at all. Enjoy it. I'll be up at 3:30 in the morning tomorrow and Friday talking about the football, but you enjoy the day, Colin.
Nick Wright, first things first. Thanks, buddy. Love talking to you, as always. Top of the hour, our Blazing 5. Joel Klatt's got thoughts on the college football playoff. Bucky Brooks, Greg Cosell, Jason McIntyre, tomorrow's headlines today. Always have fun. Coming up next, the worst news in the world for the NFL, except for one team. Just terrible news. That's coming up. Tommy John is the revolutionary underwear, loungewear, and clothing brand. I'm wearing a Tommy John T-shirt right now this morning underneath. The studio's cold because that's how Skip and Shannon like it. Perfect fit, guaranteed. And right now, their biggest sale of the year. Tommy John's biggest sale. 25% off site-wide. They've never done that before. They've got the new women's bras. No wedgies for guys guaranteed. It's mind-bending comfort this holiday season. Go to their best offer ever. TommyJohn.com, code HERD, 25% off their entire site. Breathable, lightweight. The loungewear is fantastic. I go to bed wearing a Tommy John shirt. I wake up and wear one underneath the shirt. You see me every day. Tommy John's been a great company. I've been wearing it for years, and I was never a big fan of underwear. If you've always had FOMO, fear of missing out for Tommy John, now's the time. 25% off site-wide.
Hey, come help your old man with the dishes. Stella?
Anytime I go,
Did I ever tell you this story of your Uncle John and I?
I try to bring my heart, but home is where it's at.
The holidays are here, and so are Black Friday savings. With a gift center full of surprises and all the decor you could wish for, you can make this season the best ever. Buy a Ryobi battery 2-pack and get one of these tools free. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing.
Any comments, Doug?
Yeah. Only pay for what you need with Liberty Mutual. Only pay for what you need with Liberty Mutual. Con Liberty Mutual solo pagas lo que necesitas. Only pay for what you need. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is your wake-up call. If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, month after month, the clock is ticking on irreversible joint damage. Ongoing pain and stiffness are signs of joint erosion. Humira can help stop the clock. Prescribed for 15 years, Humira targets and blocks a source of inflammation that contributes to joint pain and irreversible damage.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Help stop the clock on further irreversible joint damage. Talk to your rheumatologist. Right here, right now. Humira.
Some farms grow food. This one grows fuel. ExxonMobil is growing algae for biofuels that could one day power planes, propel ships, and fuel trucks, and cut their greenhouse gas emissions in half. Algae. Its potential just keeps growing.
We're Jack Daniels.
Smoothest. Merriest. Coldest. Toastiest. Slowest to mellow it. The quickest to give it. Holliest. Jolliest. Least likely to have a regular tree. Most likely to gather folks around it. Whiskiest whiskey from Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Everybody get new deals all day during Amazon's Black Friday sale. Low prices and free shipping on millions of items. The fun starts November 28th.
Jacob Eason and the Huskies. Battle Anthony Gordon and the Cougars. Touchdown! Black Friday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry.
Wait, have you heard about GoodRx? GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
Wow. I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
These folks, they don't have time to go to the post office. They have businesses to grow, customers to care for, lives to get home to. They use Stamps.com. Print discounted postage for any letter, any package, anytime, right from your computer. All the amazing services of the post office, only cheaper. Get our special TV offer, a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale. Go to stamps.com/try and never go to the post office again.
Sunday on Fox. MVP candidate Lamar Jackson leads the Ravens.
Are you kidding me?
Into a showdown against Jimmy G and the 49ers. It all kicks off Sunday on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Get ready for Black Friday doorbusters at Joseph A. Bank. Save up to 80% off happening now. All dress and sport shirts 4 for $125. Sport coats for $99. All traveler washable merino sweaters 2 for $79. Black Friday doorbusters only at Joseph A. Bank.
Give the best DNA gift this holiday season. With 23andMe, you get more than 1,500 geographic regions and insights into your health and an automatic family tree builder, and it's 50% off at 23andme.com.
With Black Friday savings, you can get the latest features and the lowest prices of the year. Get the right appliances and put more cheer in your season. Save instantly on top-rated appliances like these LG laundry pairs. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Hey, come help your old man with the dishes. Stella?
Anytime I call,
Did I ever tell you this story of your Uncle John and I?
I try to bring my heart, but home is where it's at.
Can I borrow your pen? Thank you.
You know, one of the amazing things about the New England Patriots is that they've never, this is kind of a fascinating thing, they've been in 9 Super Bowls, they've never had a touchdown in the first quarter of any Super Bowl, which is unbelievable. The best coach, the best preparation, the best game plans, the best quarterback, New England's never had a touchdown in the first quarter. They feel out teams. What New England does better than any team in my life, and I don't even think the people that hate New England could dispute this, they're the best adjustment team ever. They feel you out in many big games, all the Super Bowls. It's just a feeling out, going at half, and in that 13 minutes, they're able to fundamentally change the way they're playing. Josh McDaniels is the offensive coordinator, and he talked about those 13 minutes and the advantage of having a veteran quarterback and a 70-year-old offensive line coach and a running back coach that's been there forever, and Belichick's been there forever, and he's been there forever, how much they can get done in 13 minutes at half.
Into the tunnel, you usually walk with
a couple of the guys on the field, and, they have a few things that they want to make sure that we get across right when we get into the locker room. They sit, give us their attention. We discuss a couple things. Anything that may be an issue that's come up repeatedly in the first half that we need to address, we try to do that right away. Then anything that we need to adjust or anything we're going to change or put in at halftime, you discuss that. And then you want to try to make sure you let them know what we're going to try to start with in the third quarter as we go back out there. So it happens quick, but we have a veteran staff. The guys do a great job. The assistant coaches do a great job of making sure that all the things that they want me to be aware of, that they have them charted, listed, and ready to discuss and quickly jot them on the board and then give the message to the players and then go back out and play.
First half is a dress rehearsal. We prepare, watch it. 13 minutes, we change fundamentally how we play. Now, that sounds very simple. But again, 9 Super Bowls, no touchdowns in the first quarter. They always win the second half in Super Bowls. And again, you say, Colin, I mean, everybody does it their way. They do it. Stop blaming tripping. New England simply is better with the time they're given than your team is with the time you're given. Dallas made no adjustments at halftime in that 13 minutes. James Harrison, mostly with the Steelers, played with New England briefly. He said the overall attention to detail during, after games, before games is something he'd never even seen before.
What I saw there as far as their attention to detail, that is the most detailed organization as far as their X's and O's planning that I have ever seen. They meet about meeting. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious. When I first got there, obviously it was after Christmas, whatever, and I'm trying to learn the playbooks. I called my coach. I'm like, I'm having some questions about this certain defense and what I'm supposed to do. And he's like, well, just come on in. We can go over it, look at it on the film, all this. I'm like, come where? He's like, come down to the facility. I'm like, you still at work? He's like, yeah, we're all here. This is 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
They do a better job with their time than you do. Work harder, nobody cares. Another reference to Gucci Mane, who I now just call Gucci. Work harder, nobody cares. This is, it goes back to the Tom versus time. And by the way, this is a season. So the Rams have had an offensive line crisis and a running back crisis. They're 6-5. Philadelphia's had a injury crisis, an offensive line crisis. They're 5-6. New England has had both, and they're 10-1. Their left tackle, they just got him back, Isaiah Wynn. Their center, Pro Bowler, out for the year. Kicker, out for the year, Pro Bowler. Fullback, one of 2 teams in the NFL that uses one, out for the year. Their first-round pick, last week, finally played. Last week, they missed Mohamed Sanu, Philip Dorsett, their 2 and 3 receivers. Biggest game of the year, still won. They had Josh Gordon let him go, had AB let him go. They've had a 42-year-old quarterback. They've had an offensive line crisis, a wide receiver weapons crisis, and they're 10-1. Only lost at Baltimore. They just do a better job with time. I don't want to hear about the victimhood of your left tackle's hurt in Philadelphia or Rams. We have a guard center guard issue. New England lost their Pro Bowl center. Their fullback, which they use. Wide receiver crisis all year. Left tackle crisis. Kicking crisis. It's like, remember the documentary Tom versus Time? Like, I tell my kids all the time, no victimhood here. Like, just you get time in life. Sleep a little less. Sleep a little less. Work a little harder. Here's Tom versus Time, the documentary, Tom's off season.
I watch tape all day Monday, all day Tuesday. Then Saturday before the game, I watch film. And then Sunday morning, I watch film. I don't know why I can sit here and watch it and, process information quickly, but I can. Running and lifting has been much harder to develop than this. This has kind of been in me. I mean, I could literally, just watch film all day.
I go back to, it's one of the craziest things about the Patriots. Best coach, best quarterback, no first quarter touchdowns in the Super Bowl. They get a field goal. That's about it. They just feel you out. They go in 13 minutes. They change the way they're playing. Then they go out play a Seattle. They go out play in Atlanta. They go out play. It's, and it's funny about the Super Bowl. They could be 9-0. Like, their losses have all been on, the tip ball, the last play, the David Kyrie catch. It's really remarkable. I just have a lot of respect. Do better with your time, NFL. And I don't want to hear about your offensive line crisis. New England had one. I don't want to hear about your weapons crisis. New England's had one all year. I don't want to hear about your kicking crisis, Chicago. They're on their 3rd kicker. Be more prepared. Guys, stop using your girlfriend or your wife's shampoo. Get your own. It's available at Walmart. Dove Men Plus Care. Designed to give your hair the care it needs to stay strong and more resilient. All right, hour 2. We got Joel Klatt around the corner, Greg Cosell around the corner, and my Blazing 5, 9 of 12 weeks. Fox Bet made you money. That's next.
Thanksgiving weekend. Go the distance with 4 days of big game football. And get ready to feel the rush.
Touchdown, Buckeyes!
The Fox Football Feast begins tomorrow on Fox.
When you design a shirt to be worn untucked,
really tall, bigger guy,
you do it for everybody.
Broad shoulders, my waist is so skinny.
All shapes and sizes of people, all shapes and sizes of untucking.
I don't think I really have anything.
We fit all men at the perfect length. More than 50 size options. This holiday, Untuck It is the perfect gift for every body on your list.
When we were looking for a roommate, he wanted someone super quiet.
Yeah, and he wanted someone to help out with chores, so we got Jean-Pierre.
But one thing we could both agree on was getting Geico to help with renter's insurance.
Yeah, Geico did make it easy to switch and save. Oh no, there's a wall there now? That's too bad.
Visit geico.com and see how easy saving on renter's insurance can be.
It's Velveeta shells and cheese versus the other guys. Clearly, Velveeta melts creamier.
When you think about the best times, you weren't bothered. Some people didn't know the rules. You're upset the weather chose today to not cooperate. You weren't concerned your seat ended up being an exercise bike. And you clearly weren't stressed about the cleanup afterwards. Because when you've got the good stuff, you can focus on the stuff that really matters. Tostitos. Get to the good stuff.
I used to have more hair. I used to have more color. And I used to have cancer. I beat it. I did. Not alone. I used to have no idea what the American Cancer Society did. Research, yeah, but also free rides to chemo and free lodging near hospitals. I used to maybe give a little, then I got so much back. I used to have cancer.
Please give at cancer.org.
Humira patients, you inspire us. The way you triumph over adversity and live your lives. That's why we redesigned Humira. We wanted to make the experience better for you. Now there's less pain immediately following injection. We've reduced the size of the needle and removed the citrate buffers. And it has the same effectiveness you know and trust. Humira citrate-free is here. A little change can make a big difference.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask your doctor about Humira citrate-free. Here's to you.
With Black Friday savings, you can get the latest features and the lowest prices of the year. Get the right appliances and put more cheer in your season. Save instantly on top-rated appliances like this GE kitchen package. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Get ready for Black Friday with amazing deals. Like this Casio digital piano, just $299.99. Add a pair of AKG headphones, only $24.99. This holiday season, music is the gift from Guitar Center.
Old Trapper Beefs. Tough snacks.
Out here, you gotta be tough. My truck, my crew, they're tough. Old Trapper taught me the value of tenderness.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Oh, it's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can tell you.
What's up, everybody? It's Ray J. I started Raycon because wireless earbuds are way too expensive. Here at Raycon, our premium wireless earbuds deliver you the very best sound at half the price at buyraycon.com.
Now that we're banking with Chime, we get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit, which means now we can do more of the things we love. Yeah.
Oh my God, the gang's back together.
Start banking with Chime today at chime.com.
SmackDown is the premier show in WWE.
Attention. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aids, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-993-3289. That's 1-800-993-3289 now.
Go. It is a lively second hour of The Herd. Joel Clatton, 15 minutes. We're live in L.A. This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. We moved everything up. Thanksgiving tomorrow, we're off. And so we moved everything up to today. We got our Blazing Five in about 2 minutes. We have Greg Cosell next hour. Joel Klatt's coming up, always on Wednesday. Bucky Brooks stops by. Jason McIntyre. So we made it a star-studded show today. Nick Wright's already been on. It's great to have you in. The Cowboys play tomorrow. We'll get to the Cowboys in about 5-10 minutes about my thoughts. Jerry Jones talking this morning, not only about the Cowboys and Jason Garrett, but he's talking about Dak Prescott. Very, very interesting stuff. Joy, how are you?
I'm great. Good morning to everyone. Safe travels today.
Safe travels today. By the way, Vic Sinex nasal spray works up to 12 hours. Use as directed. It's cold season, and so take that and don't, sniffle all over the turkey. All right, here we go. We've had 12 weeks. All of our odds provided by Fox Bet. We've had 12 weeks. We've had 9 winning weeks of 12. So that's the bottom line with Fox Bet. If you play along, you win money when I have a winning week. So 9 of 12 weeks, we've had a winning week, and here we go.
That's a hot one. Let's blaze it up. Fire it up. It's Colin's Blazing 5. 49ers at Ravens.
Baltimore minus 5.5. That line keeps moving up. I'm going to take the Ravens at home. Listen, in their last 3 games against good teams, Lamar Jackson, the league is playing catch-up to this team offensively. This is a little bit Cam a few years ago where the league didn't have an off season to quite figure him out, and they've gotten better. They're 5-0 against the spread. Forget winning. They're blowing good teams out. And San Francisco, as good as they are, has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. Russell Wilson beat him. Kyler Murray twice gave him trouble. Against the run, the Niners since week 8 are only 27th. I think this could get ugly. I think San Francisco will keep it close. The score will be deceiving. I'll take the Ravens to win 31-24. Maybe a late touchdown by the Niners. I think Baltimore controls most of this game and covers the spread.
Redskins at Panthers.
I hate laying big numbers, but I'm going to take Carolina minus 9.5. Veteran head coach, a lot of good players, and they still have an outside shot at a wild card. They are playing for something. Washington's playing for nothing. This is the worst offense I think I've seen in 5-6 years. They won last week, and Dwayne Haskins completed 44% of his throws. They're a mess. They're last in everything offensively. They've got nothing to play for. They allow a ton of sacks, and the Panthers are second in the league in sacks. Basically, Carolina's a little bit of a less ferocious version of San Francisco up front defensively. They get after you. Washington's in big trouble. They don't have anything to play for. I'll lay the points. Panthers win easily 33-20.
Eagles at Dolphins.
Again, I'll bet a number here. I really like the Miami story. I think they're doing the best job tanking you can do. They play very hard. Even against Cleveland last week, they got down early, played their butts off. It was never really competitive, but there's no quit. I'm going to take Miami plus 9.5 against a traveling Philadelphia team. Philadelphia can't win at at home. They're not going to win on the road convincingly. So it's a number. I'll take Miami plus 9.5. Philadelphia is a broken team, decimated by injuries, the mechanics and the footwork. If you go since week 7, they're near the bottom of everything offensively, Philadelphia. They're giving the ball away. So it's not only they're struggling, they're sloppy. The penalties, 20 giveaways this year. And the Dolphins, by the way, they got off to that horrific start. Baltimore was way better early. We should have noticed that. But Miami's not the same team in week 1. Against the spread, Miami's 5-2 in their last 7 against the spread. They're back home. They are actually healthy. They've got a ton of fight. Philadelphia wins, but I'm taking the 9.5 with Miami.
Rams at Cardinals.
Arizona off a bye at home, getting points, a field goal. I think Arizona's going to win this game. I'm going to take them. Listen, Arizona had fairly low expectations this year. A quarterback, rookie, played 1 year in college, really 1 full year, a rookie head coach. So their locker room, despite their record, is very positive right now. Arizona's exceeding expectations. The Rams thought Super Bowl, and as of Monday night, they're done with that. That locker room is not good. So what are these teams playing for? Arizona, this is a good locker room, off a bye, getting healthy. After starting 3-0, the Rams are a 3-5 football team. And the Cardinals, since week 5, this is what I like about them. Since week 5, Kyler Murray is getting better every single week. Since week 5, he has 10 TDs, 1 pick, 100 passer rating, and their offensive line, which I hated coming into the season in Arizona, actually significantly now better than the Rams' offensive line, which I liked coming into the season. The O-line at Arizona is the difference. I think they win. I think they're off a bye. I think it's a better locker room today. 27-26 Cardinals.
Raiders at Chiefs.
I'm going to take the 9.5. One of my rules, Joy, good teams with good players playing for something, after they get destroyed, it's my bounce back theory. Oakland still has a chance to make the playoffs, a good chance. Oakland's still a very good offense, and they were humiliated against the Jets. Okay, they're gonna button that puppy up. They're gonna give Kansas City everything they can handle this weekend. The Chiefs' defense has struggled in the last few weeks, and I get one of the better offensive lines. Give Gruden credit. They run the football. Their offensive line's better, and listen, Kansas City's gonna win this game. It's at home, but that Kansas City defense, I don't trust them. I just don't trust them. So I think the Raiders button it up, go back to playing with the kind of spirit and efficiency they had for most of the year. The Chiefs win. I'll take the 9.5 points, 30-27 Kansas City. In an entertaining game, they'll bounce back. The Raiders are in the groove. So here are my picks, folks. I like the favored Ravens, the favored Panthers. I like my dogs Miami, my dog Arizona, and my dog Oakland. I tend to like underdogs. Give me a quarterback, Kyler Murray. Give me a quarterback like Kyler Murray and points. You give me Derek Carr and a lot of points. I kind of like that. So Jerry Jones was on this morning. He was on the NFL Network. He was talking about Jason Garrett. Jerry had stuff to say. He's still fuming. And he was talking about, they've paid everybody, right? Like they're paying Jalen Smith early. They paid Zeke early, 2 years early. They're going to pay Amari Cooper early. And they haven't paid Dak, even though Dak a couple of weeks ago was in the MVP conversation. And Jerry said, I'm not cheap here, but you are hearing increasingly the franchise tag stuff, meaning they paid Dak, instead of a 4-year contract, they would just pay him huge for 1 year. That's what Washington did for years and years with Kirk Cousins because they like Kirk, but they didn't want to get tied into a 4-year contract with Kirk Cousins. And there's a lot of speculation Jerry's going to franchise tag him, which is, okay, I'll pay you $28 million. I'll pay you $30 million for a year, but I still want to kick the tires some. So Jerry was talking about, the money, Dak, and all that stuff this morning.
Let me just say this. I think all of us, including the fans, want to win a damn football game. Okay? Now, I know we've got a lot of other things to think about. Who's coaching, who's playing, who's compared to another player someplace else. How about let's win some ball games, folks? We can take that other stuff. I'm not known as a guy who gets hand cramps when I'm writing checks.
I love that quote. Here's the thing. Dak is 0-4 against opponents with winning records. And in those 4 games, he's completing 61% of his throws, 5 TDs, 6 picks, and a passer rating of 82. I've always struggled evaluating Dak. I didn't like him out of college, and I was, even his first year, 13-3, I'm like, I don't like what I see. Then I bought into him to his second year. I love his intangibles. Sometimes I don't love his tangibles. He is the trust fund kid of quarterbacks. He inherited a great O-line. He inherits Zeke. Then they get Amari. They've got so many weapons. It is tough. And so I think what Jerry's saying here is I'll pay, and I'll pay early, and I'm not cheap. But you got to win big games. And Dak this year is 0-4 against the best teams he's played, and he's not been good with all these great weapons. And that's why owners, I don't like the franchise tag for players, especially quarterbacks. You're trapped. A team can just keep you. But for owners, it does protect you because it is very hard to evaluate the quarterback position. It's the hardest thing to evaluate in sports. You can tell how many quarterbacks have Russell Wilson. Did we ever think he would be this good? Even after his first year. Did anybody guess Kyler Murray? Lamar Jackson. So when you have a position that's incredibly difficult to evaluate and is incredibly important to a franchise, the owners are like, give us the option to franchise tag. We'll pay him. But we just don't want to get tied in for 4 years. And I think Dallas, a team that drafts very well, this scouting department is excellent. I think it's better than New England's in terms of college scouting. They're struggling with the same thing you are with Dak. Is it the line? Is it Dak? Is it Zeke? Is it Dak? Is it Amari? And by the way, I think even the coaching staff in Dallas is having problems with identifying what they are. And the coaching staff watches film all the time. Is it Zeke's team? Is it Dak's team? It seems like they lose confidence in Dak when they shouldn't, and then have confidence in him in New England when it should be Zeke. So this is why you create the franchise tag, which is getting more steam with Dak. It's hard. If you make a mistake at quarterback, you're buried. Goff and the Rams right now, are they toast for 4 years? I don't think so, but people are speculating that. And it protects the owners. It protects the coaches. It's not that you're not paying the kid. You're just not giving him $150 million. You're giving him $28 for 1 year. So interesting thoughts by Jerry. Win some damn games. Coming up, Joel Klatt, his thoughts. It looks like 2 SEC teams are getting into the college football playoff. And all these guys like Joel Klatt, I think he wants an 8-team playoff. I wake up this morning and I'm like, I don't even like the 4th team. Alabama's the 4th team potentially. They're on a backup quarterback. I don't even know if they can beat Auburn this weekend. Joel Klatt coming up next. Say hello to Casper. It is the sleep company that wanted to own the bedroom and be trusted. For years and years, you'd go to a mattress store. This is how it works. And it's still like this, and you sit on a mattress for like 4 minutes, and some guy named Larry comes over. Oh, you like that mattress? Well, it's been like 4 minutes. Got to take a nap on it? No, we got other customers. And then you have to buy a mattress, and mattresses are expensive. And then Casper said, now here's the way we'll do it. You buy it, Casper.com, the code is HERD. We'll give you $100 toward the purchase of select mattresses if you put in the code HERD. And then we'll ship it to you for free after you buy it. Sleep in it for 100 nights. If you don't like it, we'll ship it out and give it to a charity. I mean, they're giving you time here, 3 months. I've never heard of another retail company that does this. You don't go to a restaurant, eat our shrimp. I didn't like it. All right, money back. It's not the way it works. Casper.com, code HERD. Terms and conditions apply. They got 50,000 5-star reviews. Check it out. Bedding, pillows, furniture, award-winning mattresses.
Jalen Hurts and the Sooners take on Chuba Hubbard and the Cowboys. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox.
The only thing better than this bourbon are the friends you can't wait to share it with. Extra aged Jim Beam Black, the world's highest rated bourbon. Their words, not ours.
Some farms grow food. This one grows fuel. ExxonMobil is growing algae for biofuels that could one day power planes, propel ships, and fuel trucks, and cut their greenhouse gas emissions in half. Algae. Its potential just keeps growing.
Accidents will happen when you least expect them. Accidents will happen time and time again.
With Black Friday savings, you can get the latest features and the lowest prices of the year. Get the right appliances and put more cheer in your season. Save instantly on top-rated appliances like this Whirlpool kitchen package. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Pet care ain't easy. 12 hours, 20 dogs? Where's your belly rubs? After a day of chasing dogs, you shouldn't have to chase down payments.
Send invoices and accept payments to get paid twice as fast.
It's time to get yours.
QuickBooks, backing you.
DXL is built as the one-stop shop for big and tall guys, with sizes starting at XL and over 100 brands that fit great and look even better. DXL Big and Tall, built to fit at DXL.com.
Your warmest moments, the photos you only want to share with those close to you, deserve to be kept at home. Meet Ebi, new from SanDisk. It works like a personal cloud for your photos and videos. Go to meetebi.com or visit Best Buy or Amazon.
Sunday on Fox. Jaw-dropping.
Putting on a show.
Ankle-breaking.
Wow.
Game-changing.
What a throw.
MVP candidate Lamar Jackson leads the Ravens into a showdown against Jimmy G and the 49ers. It all kicks off Sunday on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Cover it up. That's what I did when I started losing my hair. Then I realized I could actually do something. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And it only costs $1 a day, which means no more covering up. Get started at Keeps.com.
Time for new reading classes? Go to Readers.com. Choose from hundreds of styles and colors for under $20. And now, enter this exclusive TV coupon code at checkout to save up to 40%. That's Readers.com.
What up, world? It's Ray J. Right now, I'm on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, California, and I'm jamming out to my favorite music on my Raycon E50 eardrums. These are the best eardrums ever. I'm shopping, I'm vibing, they fit the best, they sound the best, and they look the best. I'm matching with my style. $80 for these earbuds. If I'm gonna get my shopping on, I'm gonna jam out to my Raycon E50s, and I'm gonna get it in. Get yours right now, RayconGlobal.com.
Cowboys need a coach who can get more out of Dak, but I think Jerry already knows who his next coach is. I'm not sure he's ready to hire him, but I know who Jerry's next coach is when he decides to hire him. It's Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley, first of all, is brilliant. He makes every quarterback work. So just think about these 2 or 3 things. Number one, he made Baker Mayfield into a star. Jalen Hurts was benched in Alabama. He's a star. Kyler Murray was a baseball guy over a football guy. Made him into a star. Dak Prescott. That'd be a pretty good fit now, wouldn't it? Quarterback who needs another level. Secondly, there's a major burnout factor happening in college football for coaches. It used to be you had time off. There were times you didn't recruit. There were big gaps in it. And the feeling was college football life as a coach was better than the NFL life. It was less of a grind. You lived in a small town. You controlled the roster. The media was small market. They weren't banging on you all the time. You got more time off with your wife and kids. It was a great life. It's not as great a life as it used to be. The third factor is Lincoln Riley's had 4 quarterbacks by next year in 4 years. This wacky transfer portal thing empowers the kid. I get it. I'm for it. But it has made the quarterback position, if daddy's not happy and you're not starting, kids are out. It is a non-stop psychoanalyzing therapy sessions for these top college coaches. So, and it empowers the player, and I don't blame the player. But these are the realities of Lincoln Riley. I think he's going to take this job. I just don't know when he's going to take it. Think about this. Every time Jerry's won a Super Bowl, he hired a college coach. He hired Jimmy Johnson. No NFL experience, won 2 Super Bowls. Got rid of him. There were other guys out there. He goes, I'm going to go get Barry Switzer. He won a Super Bowl. So Jerry's reality is these college guys work. Jerry played college football. He watches college football. He loves college football. You'll see Jerry on a Saturday at a college football game. So he has a real connection to college football. Lincoln Riley is very much Jimmy Johnson. You know, everybody knew Jimmy Johnson was going to work in the NFL when he was in college. You could just sense it. He was a great personnel guy. Everybody knows Lincoln Riley's going to work in the NFL. So I think it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think Jerry's got his guy.
This week, the best rivalry in college football headlines the big noon Saturday game of the week as number 1 Ohio State battles number 13 Michigan. Starts Saturday strong at 10 Eastern with a special 2-hour big noon kickoff pregame show live from the Big House. Catch it all on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Jim Harbaugh's winning games, America. A couple of guys right here. We saw it coming for years. Jim Harbaugh, how about that? Tip of the cap to you and I.
Well, I mean, listen, I think we have been accused of being Jim Harbaugh defenders at times, but they're playing better football. I got to tell you, over their last 18 quarters, they're outscoring their opponents like 180 to like 52.
Thanks.
They've been dominant.
They have been dominant.
Rather than thanks, just say, you're welcome, America.
You're welcome, America.
See, there you go.
A couple of guys here aren't bandwagon guys. We stuck with Harbaugh. You and I, guys like Whitlock, have been bailing on him forever. We kept saying, Michigan's
Whitlock is like a Hoke defender, and there's no defending that.
Yeah, 6.5 wins to 9. They're going to win 10 if they win a bowl game. All right, so last night, the playoff committee, Joel Klatt's joining us, the voice of college football, wearing a sweater. He likes almonds and sweaters. I kid you not, boring.
I do like sweaters.
But yet you're so dynamic on the air. So what did the playoff rankings came out last night? My theory on this whole thing from week 1, I've been saying, they just want 2 SEC teams in, which I don't have a problem with. It is the best conference. So what do you make of that? Ohio State won, LSU 2.
That's interesting. I actually got a different feeling. Right. I got the feeling like it's not happening for Bama.
Oh, that's what you saw.
That's what I saw there. I think that they're waiting for that 13th data point for Utah. If they can get a championship game, I think that they're going to jump Utah over Alabama.
Okay.
And I think they're telling us that with Georgia's body of work, if they beat LSU, both of those teams will go. But if LSU beats Georgia, I think Utah would be the next team in there.
So, but basically you're saying, you're probably right on this. They're saying this morning, if they played, we take Bama. But we're going to punish Bama for not getting into their conference championship game.
I think that's correct. And the resumes, by the way, the resumes between Bama and Utah are both very thin. Very thin resume. The resume that's going to look better on paper is OU if they were to win out.
Oklahoma.
If they beat Oklahoma State
and Baylor.
And Baylor in the Big 12 championship game. But I think that they're setting things up with how Utah has played, the way that they look on defense in particular. You know, they've won 7 straight games by 29 or more points.
Yeah, no,
Utah's a real team.
Yeah, it's a real team. And by the way, Utah, now Bama's a different program. Utah years ago went to the Sugar Bowl and knocked Bama out.
They did.
Remember that?
They did.
Utah's always played great special teams. They run the football. They got NFL guys all over their defensive line. That's been their story when Urban was there 20 years ago.
They've got 5 or 6 NFL guys on their defense.
Yep.
That's one of the best defenses in America. And no one sees them play because they play at midnight and everyone goes to bed. But rest assured, Utah is the real deal. And Tyler Huntley, their quarterback, is going to get a few Heisman Trophy votes. Yep. I know that might surprise some people, but he's played well as well.
Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about the 8-team playoff. And my thing is,
everyone's clamoring.
And I'm always like, college football's always had one thing more than any sport: urgency. Even in the NFL, you can stink in September. That's fine.
That's right.
In college football, you stink in September. I'm not going in October. If you had an 8-team playoff, I don't even like the number 4 team right now. We're arguing about Alabama, and Georgia can't throw the ball over the top. Georgia got boat raced at home by a bad South Carolina team.
That's right.
So, no, they got beat at home. So my takeaway is I'm not an 8-team playoff guy in most years.
Okay, so let me tell you what will happen. Here's the sequence of events of what happens if they expand the playoff to 8. Here's what happens is that the conferences, in particular the Power 5 conferences, who own the playoff, by the way. The NCAA does not own the playoff. The conferences own the playoff. So they will demand an automatic bid for their champion.
5 of 8 are in.
They're going to be in, which means that automatically nullifies any importance of a non-conference game. Zero. It means zero. And yet this sport, I think, is the most unique because of its importance in the regular season. You call it urgency. I agree 100% with you. I think that you reduce the urgency of the regular season, which is the most important factor for this sport. In large part, why it's number 2 in our country as far as ratings, popularity. And I don't want to devalue the regular season in college football. The other thing that you have is you're arguing between more and more flawed resumes.
By the 8th team, I'm arguing over 2 losses. Like Penn State's 9-2. They've played 2 really good teams.
Lost to them both.
Both. And Michigan, if they'd played another 8 minutes, may have beaten them.
So, I mean, another 30 seconds. You never know.
So
I'm completely with you on this, and you're going to get more teams that are arguing. You know, Florida's going to be like, well, what about us? And Baylor, what about everybody's going to have their hand up? And I think that you create more of an argument over teams that are more and more flawed, and what ends up happening is, well, let's just do 12. Well, let's just do 14, 16, and it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow, and I don't think that that's good for the sport.
Joel Klatt's joining us, the voice of college football. He does a terrific job. We disagree a lot. We'll disagree on this. So a lot of talk about Ohio State's one of the best teams ever. I do think it's the best Ohio State team potentially I've seen. I'm not sure if it's – I don't consider it the best team ever. The best team I've ever seen play, I saw them play live, was the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers. Okay. Tommy Frazier, Lawrence Phillips.
Yep.
They had some chemical stuff going on because they had guys running way too fast for their size, and they destroyed Steve Spurrier, Florida Gators. I mean, literally grabbed them and threw them in a trash can.
Yeah, it was 95 Fiesta Bowl.
I was there live. It was embarrassing. It was brutal. So that's the best team. So
they're good.
Okay, so give me your – do you think Ohio State's one of the best teams ever?
I don't think you can even come close to saying that until the end of the season. Now, potentially, could they get there? Yes. I think that this team specifically could potentially get to that level if they were to run the table and go 15-0 and win the national championship.
And whack LSU and whack Clemson.
Because remember, it depends a lot. To be historically considered one of the best teams of all time, you got to have played great opponents. You can't just be like, well, we won a lot of games. It's like, yeah, everyone wins a lot of games in college football. You got to beat really quality opponents. You've got to dominate in those games. It's going to matter how many guys are drafted off of that team, which is why a lot of people say 2001 Miami could be one of the best teams ever. They had 17 first-round draft picks on that team alone. 38 drafted players on that roster. 17 of them in the first round.
That's the most talented team I've ever seen. Nebraska mid-90s is the best team.
I would also put up, if I was going to say, like, who are your top 5? I would have 95 Nebraska in there. I would have 01 Miami.
Okay, so
there.
Here's
my ranking. Number 5 would be 95 Nebraska. Last year's Clemson team was incredible, including knocking off Bama, which is a big deal at that point.
They were very good.
71 Nebraska, no one remembers them. They beat the number 2, 3, and 4 team in the country that year, which was Oklahoma, Colorado, and there was one other in the bowl game.
People didn't even wear shoes back then with football.
Well, they were great. 01 Miami. And then, guys, I might be a little biased on this.
2005 Texas?
2005 Texas, the Vince Young Texas team who beat USC. They ended USC's winning streak. I mean, that was I think Vince Young was the best player I've ever seen on a football field. We had to play him twice. This is one of the reasons I have him number 1.
We played him twice.
They put me in the hospital. You know why I have him? Because things like this. Yeah, that's me throwing an interception right there.
I hated that throw by you.
He was open. The corner was open. The corner route was open.
I had you as a top 10 draft pick.
This is why right here. And lights out. Yeah, you bet.
They knocked you out?
Yeah, I'm unconscious there. Oh, why are we putting up this? This is just because we're not talking about this Miami team. They're trying to get me on the John Beeson.
Have you ever seen Vince Young's high school tape?
Oh, gosh.
He's the great. I'm not kidding you. I like recruiting. Vince Young's high school tape, he's the greatest high school player of all time. It looks like
Adrian
a building
right up there.
Playing against 9-year-olds. He looks like a building.
I love these types of discussions. But when you bring it back to this year, Ohio State's going to have a chance. Think about it. I mean, they have now beaten 10 of their 11 opponents by 24 or more points. They just took a top 10 team, turned the ball over 3 times, a 17-point swing in turnovers, and still beat them by double digits. They're going to have a chance to win the Big Ten and go 10-0 in Big Ten play, 9 in the regular season, 1 in the conference championship games. It'll be the first time ever, if they're able to do it, that a team gets that done, 10-0 in conference play. They could play LSU. They could play Clemson. If this Ohio State team goes 15-0 and wins the national championship, they will be a top 5 all-time college football team. Think of the draft picks they have. They're going to have what I think is potentially the Heisman Trophy winner on defense, Chase Young. They're going to have a top 10 pick at corner, and Jeff Okudah. Great running back in J.K. Dobbins. He'll be a top 2-round pick. There's draft picks littered all over this roster.
And by the way,
most dominant and complete team in the country.
Justin Fields will go number 2 next year, the following year, 2021.
Chase Young's so good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Hey, did you hear me call? I said Superman and the Avengers. Did you catch that?
Somebody said you got.
Oh, they were upset, man. I tell you, the nerds and the nerdery were upset
because
with class.
you made a super.
But I did.
You like almonds and sweaters, so
you made a superhero reference and you were wrong, or something.
I was wrong, and that's right. I said, "Oh, this is like Superman and the Avengers," and apparently they've never teamed up. Although I have.
Well, Superman is DC and Avengers is Marvel,
which I've learned since. Yes, but there was like in the early 2000s, there was like a one allegiance that they had where they actually showed up together. Not that I was referencing that because I wouldn't have that frame of mind anyways. But, listen, I'm a stubborn guy. Joy, you and Colin, you guys know that.
Yeah.
I'm turning into this one like right into the headwind. I will say it again in the first quarter. No doubt in my mind. Superman and the Avengers are coming out again. Eat it, nerds.
You're going to say it again on the air?
Of course I am, Joy. Turn right into it. There's a headwind. Turn into it. Own it. Own your mistake. I want to make shirts.
My son.
I want to get a Superman and Avengers shirt and put it on Chase Young, take a picture with him.
In your face, nerds.
Yes.
Yeah, my son loves the Avengers. I've seen them all with him.
Who doesn't love the Avengers?
Thanos and Robert Downey.
I saw a couple of them. I haven't seen all of them.
Very good.
I've seen a couple
very good.
I haven't seen all of them. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Right. There's got to be a lot, right?
But
Because they have like the singular movie.
Yeah. You do like the Avengers,
of course.
All right.
I like
all right. Good luck on the big game this weekend.
You bet.
That'd be good for you.
And then good luck to me on Twitter afterwards with all the comic nerds.
By the way, Walmart, get your own shampoo. Dove Men Plus Care. Stop borrowing your girlfriends. That's Joe Klatt, Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
All right, well, emotions will be high when the Browns travel to Pittsburgh Sunday for their second matchup with the Steelers. But Freddie Kitchens does not want his team to be a part of any more distractions.
Oh, Lord.
I want them to go in this game with one thing and one thing only on their mind, and that's to do their job. And anything that overshadows that anyway is not acceptable, and it's not the best for the team. And I want guys that show up ready to do their job. All that other stuff is just fluff, all right? It's just fluff just to give people things to talk about leading up to Sunday. And then at some point on Sunday around 1 o'clock, we're going to kick the ball off, and then that's when it's going to, it's going to be for real then at that point. And that's when I want them to be at their best.
I really like that he said that, though, because he's right. This is a game where you could very easily get into your emotions and get off your game and start doing things outside of your character, things that are overall not in the best interest of the team, just because they're seeing each other again for the first time since the incident on Thursday night.
Right.
So I like that he said this because he's right.
I think Cleveland has figured out their identity on offense a little bit. Like I watched them last week. They're a running football team. They Baker on play action. I think his accuracy, he went through. I mean, let's be honest about Cleveland. They weren't very good against the best teams and the best coaches. They look very good at home against bad teams. So that's the Cleveland season's very predictable. I predicted 9-7. I think they're going to end up 8-8, not 9-7. I think they'll get smoked by Baltimore when they host them, and I think Arizona's going to beat them as well. But I will say this. I think they found a little bit of an offensive identity. Now, that's easier when you play crappy teams. And against Baltimore, they may be trailing and have to abandon the run. But I think they'll win in Pittsburgh this weekend. It's funny, the line's like 2.
Well, they're favored by 2.5.
Yeah,
according to Fox Bet.
And the wise guys in Vegas, I'm told, like the Steelers, so I stayed away from it. But the Vegas guys like Pittsburgh.
I also like Pittsburgh. Rudolph will not be playing.
Oh, he stinks.
Yeah, Hodges is starting. When Tomlin was asked why Hodges was starting over Rudolph, Tomlin responded, "He's not killed us."
That's funny.
So it sounds like Tomlin is a bit off of Rudolph right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're home dogs, which is for the first time since
the 80s. I think you said, yeah,
89. So it'll be an interesting game to watch because of the emotions of it, but I still like Pittsburgh at home.
Vegas, wise guys in Vegas, the Sharps like Pittsburgh. I just stayed away. I don't like Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Well, Lamar Jackson is breaking all kinds of records this season, and he just got another one. When Madden updates their ratings tomorrow, Lamar will get a speed rating of 96, which is the highest for a quarterback in NFL history.
Speed rating.
It was previously held by Michael Vick, who held the record at 95, and he gave a shout-out to Lamar as well as some custom cleats after the news.
Oh.
96 speed overall. Congratulations to you, Lamar. The cleat looks good, courtesy of Nike. Look, man, it's an honor and privilege to be in this position, to be able to hand something off to the next generation, man. That means a lot. I know to myself, it means a lot to him. This will forever be legendary, this quote right here. Whoever said it to Lamar, now they're eating those words. Not bad for a running back. You know, all records are made to be broken. The next generation are supposed to be better than us, and got to give credit where credit is due. I say it's your turn now.
I like that.
That is very nice. And he's right. You know, you should be proud of the next generation coming up. And, he is breaking a lot of records and having an incredible season. And he's constantly being compared to Michael Vick.
Yeah, it's really funny. There's a group of people out there in the media that keep saying, it's why did he drop so far? Lamar was drafted in the first round. And you have to remember, usually in the first round, 23 of the 32 teams don't need a quarterback.
Right.
Folks, Dan Marino dropped. Aaron Rodgers dropped. He's a different player. The league, frankly, can't figure him out. So, what?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying yesterday. Like, it's not a situation where he's necessarily an underdog. I mean, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. Like you said, everybody doesn't need a quarterback. Well, he obviously should have gone higher. Now, I mean, we look back at a lot.
Yeah.
Tom Brady went in the 6th round.
Russell, 3rd round. Yeah.
Right.
But I think what Lamar is, and I think this is why the NFL ratings are up this year, and I really believe this, he's a great story. And the NFL's always been the sport we watch. We watch the games. NBA, the numbers tell you we don't watch a lot, but the stories are great. Lamar's a great story. Kyler Murray, nobody's watching, is a great story. Patrick Mahomes last year was a great story. Dak's a controversial story. Lamar, beyond the quarterback, it's a fascinating plot twist. We're going to play quarterback. We're going to go back to the Michael Vick, except this team, Atlanta didn't do this with Vick, is going to go all in on this style. And I think the league's struggling to figure out how the hell to stop it right in the middle of a season.
Well, that's really what it comes down to. Michael Vick was a phenomenon. And we're seeing that, and as Michael admitted, on another level. And he's in a situation where obviously, he was a Heisman Trophy winner and didn't go in the first round, but he did fall. And, you have the image of him and his mom at the draft just waiting to be called. And nobody believed in him last year. And people were, discussing whether he could even play the position. So he does have that feeling of, not only is he proving everybody wrong who doubted him, but he's taking the position and revolutionizing it.
He's going to get a lot
while breaking the original revolutionizers' records. He only has 164 more yards to go to break Michael's record. Finally, reports surfaced this week that the NBA was considering significant changes to both the regular season and the postseason, and one of those changes could be an in-season tournament.
I don't know how that would work.
Well, basically, the tournament would consist of a group stage before 6 division winners and 2 wild cards advance to a bracket-style tournament format. It's supposed to be around Thanksgiving to counter college tournaments. It has no implications towards the postseason, only monetary awards as teams advance. And it's reportedly an attempt to combat the ratings, but James Harden is not a fan.
Yeah.
There's been some talk from the league about instituting an in-season tournament. What do you think about that?
I don't know nothing about that.
Do you think would that mean anything to you, playing a tournament, a single elimination tournament in December?
In college? It's college.
Yeah, PJ Tucker is also not a fan. He said, you play for an NBA championship. I don't want to play for anything else, period. I don't like this idea either, especially because it doesn't mean anything. It has no implications towards the postseason.
The NBA's always been a sport where we really start watching it. Second round of the playoffs is when people kind of come in. One of the things, Joy, I always thought you should start it the Wednesday after Thanksgiving, because by the Wednesday after Thanksgiving, about half the NFL cities
are out.
And you go to a Philadelphia, the season starts, I'm into the Sixers. The Eagles, if they lose this weekend, are out. I think when you start in October, you just get overwhelmed by NFL and college football. I think if you cut the games down, it creates more urgency.
Right.
The load management goes away mostly, the optics, and by the way, you can do no back-to-backs. You move it into July.
Well, that's what's if they were going to shorten it, the tournament was supposed to make up for the loss in revenue, but the tournament thing just doesn't work. But I'm with you. I think that now, and this is kind of probably the issue the NBA is running into, is that there's such a demand for attention and for viewers. There's streaming, there's the internet, like there's YouTube. There's so many different ways that people can, consume content. So you have to find ways to bring urgency to it. That's what it comes down to.
That's right. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
I saw this headline today. The NFL Network is having their top 100 all-time team. NFL Films has produced a 6-part series. They're going to release the running backs and the quarterbacks later and all that stuff. And I'm not going to go into that. But so Bill Belichick was kind of part of the panel. And Belichick said the process of selecting the 100 best coaches ever, quote, made me a better coach. Oh, God, that's what the league wants to hear. You know what? This offseason, I'm a better coach now than I was the previous 19 years when I dominated the NFL. Bucky Brooks will be joining us next. A former corner, the former scout, helped build the Panthers and Seahawk rosters. Next hour, Greg Cosell and Jason McIntyre. Wednesday, just a little more than halfway home. Driving can be tough in the winter. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Get Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades. They wanted to test them and put them through the rigors of a 16,000-mile drive from Alaska to Argentina. Now, you're never going to go through this, but they wanted to put them in the 120-degree heat of the desert, the tundra, the freezing cold rains throughout Alaska. 16,000 miles later, good shape. Lasts 2 times longer than other blades. Part of it's the QuadTech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice. Available only at Walmart. Upgrade to Michelin Endurance XD silicone wiper blades, the best blades on the market and the kind of blades you need for the next 3 to 4 months.
Hey, come help your old man with the dishes. Stella?
Anytime I call,
Did I ever tell you this story of your Uncle John and I? It was about your...
I try to bring my heart, but home is where it's at.
No, great presentation, Tim. Could you email me the part about Geico, making it easy to switch and save hundreds?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You don't know my name, do you?
Of course I know your name. I just get you mixed up with the other guy. What's his name? What's your name?
Switch to Geico. You could save 15% or more on car insurance.
Could you just tell me? I want this to be over.
The holidays are here, and so are Black Friday savings. With a gift center full of surprises and all the decor you could wish for, you can make this season the best ever. Buy a Ryobi battery 2-pack and get one of these tools free. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Most homeowners draw a blank when asked what their home projects should cost. That's why at Home Advisor, you can see what others paid for similar jobs in your area. Start your next home project knowing what you should pay. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
There's just something different to a Disney movie.
Pixar is everything to me.
I love Moana so much.
Verizon knows you love all things Disney.
I think we've watched every single movie at least twice, 4 times.
100 times.
That's why Verizon gives you Disney Plus on us for a year.
I'm so excited to see The Mandalorian.
No matter which unlimited plans your families mix and match, your plan comes with classics and new originals on us. And plans start at just $35 a line.
Anybody want to do it on the dark side? I will.
Because the network more people rely on gives you more.
We're Jack Daniels. The smoothest, merriest, coldest, toastiest, slowest to mellow it, the quickest to give it, holliest, jolliest, least likely to have a regular tree, most likely to gather folks around.
Into a Disney movie.
Pixar is everything to me.
I love Moana so much.
Verizon knows you love all things Disney.
I think we've watched every single movie at least twice, 4 times.
100 times.
That's why Verizon gives you Disney Plus on us for a year.
I'm so excited to see The Mandalorian.
No matter which unlimited plans your families mix and match, your plan comes with classics and new originals on us. And plans start at just $35 a line.
Anybody want to do it on the dark side? I will.
Because the network more people rely on gives you more.
We're Jack Daniels. The smoothest, merriest, coldest, toastiest, slowest to mellow it, the quickest to give it, holliest, jolliest, least likely to have a regular tree, most likely to gather folks around it. Whiskiest whiskey from Lynchburg, Tennessee.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Introducing a razor that works differently. The Gillette Skin Guard has a guard between the blades that helps protect skin. The Gillette Skin Guard.
Number 1 Ohio State takes on number 13 Michigan in the most anticipated rivalry game of the year. America's best pregame, America's best announcers, all part of Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
Oh my God! This is the SmackDown!
That was the best performance I've ever seen on this show.
This is driving me insane.
The Masked Singer, all new December 4th on Fox, and catch up anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
Did you know a lot of medication sold online may be counterfeit? That's why we created Roman. Just visit GetRoman.com, and if treatment is right for you, you'll get genuine medication delivered to your door. Get started today at GetRoman.com/TV.
It's time to make mopping history. BravaJet, start mopping. Introducing the BravaJet M6 Robot Mop. With an adjustable precision jet spray, an advanced pad system for mopping or sweeping, BravaJet breaks up messes and gets deep in corners. A better way to mop without any effort. The BravaJet M6 Robot Mop. Only for my robot.
Hey, come help your old man with the dishes. Stella?
Anytime I call,
Did I ever tell you this story of your Uncle John and I? It was about
I try to bring my heart, but home is where it's at.
On a traditional day,
we get set on Thanksgiving.
A divisional rivalry takes center stage.
Here we go.
Khalil Mack leads a hungry Bears team, ready to feast as they take on the Lions in a Thanksgiving showdown. Coverage begins tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
That is so funny. All right, Bucky Brooks, defensive back, scout, NFL Network. Love having him on Thanksgiving Eve. All right, I was saying earlier, Dak's a little bit like the trust fund kid of quarterbacks. inherited comfort. So the weapons and the O-line and the running back, I've always found him to be, a little bit with Eli Manning early in his career, a hard evaluation for me. I'm back and forth on Dak. Intangibles A+, tangibles C-. Am I unfair?
You are. You are unfair. Because I think what has happened with Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott, unlike most quarterbacks, he's judged each and every week. He's a franchise quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. He can do it. He can't do it. Early in the season, everyone was coming in saying this is Ezekiel Elliott's team. Ezekiel Elliott is the guy that is the driving force of the offense.
Right.
This year, Dak Prescott has been that. He has merged. He's been a dominant player. He was leading the league in passing yards. He has played well. By any metric, however we measure quarterbacks, he's a franchise quarterback. If it comes to wins, he ranks only behind Tom Brady since he entered the league. If it comes to passing yards and individual stats, this year he's the passing leader. I don't know what Dak can do to make people realize how good of a player he is.
Not go 0 for 4 against the best teams.
Okay, so here's what happens when you're playing really good teams. That's when coaching matters. So when you're playing really, really good teams and the playing field is level, that's when you need your coach to give you the advantage. So we heard Jerry Jones very upset and angry after the game where he saw the Patriots knock off the Dallas Cowboys. Because in that game, it wasn't a Dak Prescott issue. That was a coaching issue. The New England Patriots are on the details. They pay attention to details. They win games because they know how not to lose games, meaning they don't turn the ball over. They don't give you silly penalties and extra yardage. They win the special teams in the kicking game. The Dallas Cowboys lost that game because in the kicking game, they didn't pay attention. Block punt, gave up hidden yardage, had penalties, burned timeouts. That's not a Dak Prescott issue. That's a Jason Garrett issue.
I've been critical of Aaron Rodgers, and I said, all the issues were going to be solved with Mike McCarthy. Okay, he's gone. Let's wait till Thanksgiving for Matt LaFleur. Aaron Rodgers now in the last 3 games is 1-2 with 2 touchdown passes. His passer rating is very low. I think he's regressing. I don't sense the it. Maybe it's the collarbone surgeries. He's got a star running back. He's got a star receiver. He's got a very talented tight end. He got the progressive smart coach. I saw Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson give San Francisco trouble. Off a bye, that game was over in 8 minutes. Some of it's on Aaron.
It is on Aaron, and I think he has always gotten a pass, because we've always made excuses about what he doesn't have. He doesn't have playmakers. He doesn't have a running game. The coach doesn't call the right plays for him. The defense doesn't get it done. I'm going to read you some stats. Since 2017, in November and December, Aaron Rodgers is 4-9. He averages 226 passing yards per game, but his passer rating is below 90. It's 89.9. So when I'm saying that my franchise quarterback, a guy who I've heard hailed as the greatest passer of all time, if he can't deliver when it matters, down the stretches when it matters, November, December is money time. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been money. He hasn't been clutch the last 3 years when it's been
time. By the way, I think an unbelievable number. I think Joey and I talked about this the other day. It's one of those, whoa, what? He has a losing road record in his career. That is stunning to me. He has the best road quarterback in the NFL. In the last 20 Eastern Time Zone games, Russell Wilson's 16-4. He has the 31st ranked pass blocking line, offensive. And he goes to San Francisco and beats the best defensive line in the sport. Russell, to me, is a better quarterback today he's aging better than Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. And I think this is what has happened. The narrative has been that we're beginning to expect quarterbacks to play 20 years because we've been spoiled by Drew Brees and Tom Brady.
That's what Nick Wright says.
That was never the case. The case was if you got a decade of strong quarterback play, that's more than enough, which kind of speaks to the argument when people are worried about the athletic quarterback and the mobile quarterback. 10 years is what you expect to get from a franchise quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, 35, 36. When you get older, the hits hurt a little more. You lose some of the steam on the ball. We've talked about the passing yards over 10 yards. The accuracy is down. I think you pointed out a stat that is 45%.
Completion percentage over 10 yards. He's not as accurate as he used to be.
He's not as accurate as he used to be. He's a different player. So what has to happen? A couple of things. One, when he gets older, the supporting cast has to do more, meaning Matt LaFleur has to lean on the running game more. The playmakers around him, they have to step up and be guys that can take short passes and make them into big games. games. As the quarterback gets older, he needs the rest of the pieces of the puzzle to do more. It's not a knock to Aaron Rodgers. This is what every quarterback needs. The supporting cast has to help him out.
By the way, Drew Brees has his best defense in a long time. Drew Brees has a running game, a great possession receiver, and an offensive line that's underrated. Finally, Tom Brady, an NFL exec. They're always anonymous. You ever know that? The NFL exec says, Brady, quote, is still deadly when he needs to be. Buy it.
No, I don't buy it. You know who Tom Brady is because you're a boxing fan.
Oh, I love boxing.
Tom Brady is Mike Tyson. But he's not Mike Tyson at the beginning of his career. He's Mike Tyson before he played Lennox Lewis. And the reason why is because it's more mystique than magic now. Tom Brady can still throw a haymaker occasionally. But the days of Tom Brady carrying this team to the postseason, carrying this team to the Super Bowl, they're over. So the first 3 games of the year, Tom Brady was outstanding. Completed 67% of his passes, 7-0 touchdown to interception ratio, passer rating of 116. In the last 8 games, he's only completing 60% of his passes, 8-5 touchdown to interception ratio, and a passer rating under 80.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have much.
No. He is a bottom third quarterback right now on the numbers. Hey, look, we can talk about a supporting cast. We can talk about the running game and all of these things. Right now, at his best, Tom Brady's a game manager. They are winning because of their special teams and their defense. And as long as they stick to the recipe, they can win. But if this becomes a team that has to lean on number 12, he's not going to be able to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
No, I'm right. I'm right on this one.
I think I'm right on the Aaron Rodgers one.
Oh, you might be. Two guys are right. That's great.
By the way, I'll go back and say it again. Russell Wilson's, I said it to start the show, is the most underrated player in the NFL in my lifetime. And I really believe that.
I mean, he is underrated. And I think the reason why he has been underrated, because very early on, and I believe Russell Wilson's career mirrors Tom Brady in this aspect. Early in the career, Russell Wilson had the running game with Marshawn Lynch and a dominant defense.
And a legendary coach.
Great coach in Pete Carroll. Tom Brady had the same thing with Belichick. They ran the ball. They leaned on the defense. He grew from game manager to franchise player. What we have seen in the last 3 or 4 years, Russell Wilson is a franchise player.
Oh, my God.
He has been able to do it. When Marshawn Lynch went out, they had to do it differently, but he has been able to elevate and continue to keep the Seahawks. First 8 seasons, they've never had a losing season. Just think about that. It's one thing to talk about winning the rings. It's another thing to always be in the tournament.
No, this is a big thing. As great as Cam is, he's never had back-to-back winning seasons.
Tough. Consistency.
Russell Wilson, high school won. NC State won. Wisconsin won. Seattle won. And the other thing about Russell, he's in every game. Aaron Rodgers got blown out again last week off a bye. Russell's traveling to a different time zone. He's in Yemen this week. Seattle's out by Alaska. It's a 12-hour plane ride, and he goes to Philly and wins hour 3. Greg Cosell next.
Truly Hard Seltzer has so many amazing flavors, you don't ever have to have the same one twice. I mean, really, who wants 2 of the same thing, right? What? Oh, wait. That's not fair. Now, crisper, fresh taste with only 100 calories.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
I wish I could shake your hand.
Granted. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only one thing's more exciting than getting a Lexus, giving one.
Unbelievable. It really is.
The Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Lease the 2020 RX 350 all-wheel drive for $419 a month for 27 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
It's Velveeta shells and cheese versus the other guys. Clearly, Velveeta melts creamier.
If his underwear's off-key, gift him some glee. Duluth is Yule with underwear. Only at Duluth Trading.
Some farms grow food. This one grows fuel. ExxonMobil is growing algae for biofuels that could one day power planes, propel ships, and fuel trucks, and cut their greenhouse gas emissions in half. Algae. Its potential just keeps growing.
The only thing better than this bourbon are the friends you can't wait to share it with. Extra Aged Jim Beam Black, the world's highest rated bourbon. Their words, not ours.
The holidays are here, and so are Black Friday savings. With a gift center full of surprises and all the decor you could wish for, you can make this season the best ever. Buy a Ryobi Battery 2-pack and get one of these tools free. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Today, when you bank, shop, or browse online, you're more exposed than ever to cyber criminals. That's why Norton and LifeLock are now one, with all-in-one protection for $9.99.
What's up, everybody? It's Ray J. I started Raycon because wireless earbuds are way too expensive. Our premium wireless earbuds deliver the best sound for half the price. You got me singing Raycon earbuds. Cut. Hey, at buyraycon.com.
They said it couldn't be done, but now men all across this great nation are standing up with confidence, paying tribute to the brave, the determined, the victorious, and proudly taking off their hats to celebrate getting their hair back. So hats off to those who made it possible. Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert. Hats off to the latest science, which can restore your real hair permanently. And hats off to this great offer. Bosley is giving away a free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts ICE to 234-234. Guys, we're so confident of permanent results, they're backed by the Bosley Guarantee. Imagine looking in the mirror each day and seeing how much hair you're growing instead of how much hair you're losing. Hats off to that. And next, it will be hats off to you. For a free information kit and a gift card for $250 off, text ICE to 234-234. ICE to 234-234.
My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but now I take Metamucil every day. It traps and removes the waste that weighs me down, so I feel lighter. Try Metamucil and begin to feel what lighter feels like.
Old Trapper Beefs. Fake protein.
Can we take a protein break? Check it. I got my beans, my bars, my goos, my glums. I think Goop was a bad choice.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
It's time to make mopping history. BravaJet, start mopping. Introducing the BravaJet M6 robot mop. With an adjustable precision jet spray and advanced pad system for mopping or sweeping, BravaJet breaks up messes and gets deep in corners. A better way to mop without any effort. The BravaJet M6 robot mop. Only from iRobot.
This new crisper taste truly keeps getting even better. Just like you, Derek.
I do?
Yeah, now you're Derek holding a Truly that's way better than a regular Derek.
Thanks.
Now, crisper fresh taste with only 100 calories.
Man, I'm starving. Just ordered a little Wendy's delivery on the Wendy's app, and it should be here right about...
Matt? Hey, what's up, man?
What's happening? Do we know each other?
It's Matt Leinart, 10,693 yards, 99 TDs in college.
This is Craig, Wendy's legend. 4,000 deliveries, 25,000 spicy nugs. That's a lot of spicy nugs. Hey, you want to go meet the guys?
Reggie, Brady, and Urban?
Matt?
Start your Saturday strong with Big Noon Kickoff at 10 Eastern on Fox and get your game day meal delivered through the Wendy's app.
Time for new reading classes? Go to readers.com. Choose from hundreds of styles and colors for under $20. And now, enter this exclusive TV coupon code at checkout to save up to 40%. That's readers.com.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry.
Wait, have you heard about GoodRx? GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
How? I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
Don't miss a minute of America's smash hits. You won't believe the celebrity we reveal next. The Masked Singer. All new Wednesdays, and catch up anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
to be potentially our best hour, our last hour of the week, Joy. We got Greg Cosell in 15 minutes. Jason McIntyre, tomorrow's headlines today. This is The Herd, live in L.A., Hour 3, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. So thankful. The family's in town now, so very thankful. My daughter got in school, got home from college last night. Boy, the LAX is a mess. Airport.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I have to fly out of LAX today.
You do?
I have had anxiety since last night about it.
55 million Americans will be traveling out of LAX the next 3 hours. No.
I wouldn't believe it.
They have a parking situation there that's just a mess.
Yes. Just send out, all your good thoughts for me. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Are you flying direct to Pittsburgh?
No. Apparently LAX doesn't believe in that.
What?
So
you don't have a direct flight to Pittsburgh?
No. I'm actually taking 2 flights to Pittsburgh.
What?
So I'm really coming for you guys. I love you a lot.
Pittsburgh's got a great airport, by the way.
They do. I just don't know why they don't have any direct flights to Los Angeles.
That is, you only go to places without direct flights.
You know what? I do go to a lot of places where I have to connect. But I'm really good at packing. So, I get everything in my carry-on.
All right.
Just do kind of all one color, so I can just go. But it's going to be an adventure today.
All right, everybody. So Hour 3, Channel 83, Sirius XM as well. Best for last, tomorrow's headlines today. So it's now Wednesday. It's now Wednesday, and Jerry Jones is still fuming about Sunday's loss on Fox Sports to the New England Patriots.
No one in this country has earned the right to say, I'm a Jason Garrett man more than me. I am his man. The bottom line is we get graded. I'm in business. I don't have to win the Super Bowl in business every year. I can come in 6th and have a hell of a year. But in this business, you've got to come in first. You've got to come in first. And so fundamentally, you've asked for something that's a very narrow window to begin with.
He's still fuming, and he went on live TV today knowing he would be asked questions about Jason Garrett. So he wants the message out. This is one of these things, if as an owner, you would just say, I can't do this interview. You'd cancel, say, I've got big business. We have people cancel all the time on our show when they don't want a message out or they know we're going to ask a tough question. Jerry knew the question was coming, and he went on live TV to answer it and double and triple and quadruple down on it. They're looking for a new coach. I want you to think about this. Is it worse than we think? Just some context here. So when I say Philadelphia Eagles this year, you think of 2 things. Massive injuries, and Carson Wentz appears broken. Does everybody get that Philadelphia is 1 game back of Dallas? And Philadelphia hosts Dallas later. That Philadelphia's next 3 opponents, Miami, Washington, and the Giants, a mess. Dallas has 8-3 Buffalo, at Chicago in horrible weather, and then Sean McVay and the Rams. Folks, everything has gone wrong for Philadelphia this year. They started the year, they had cluster injuries in the secondary. I've never seen it. They didn't have enough cornerbacks on their roster. Then their offensive line loses their left tackle. Carson Wentz appears broken. Last Sunday, they were missing 6 offensive starters. And Philadelphia, over the next 3 weeks, is going to be heavily favored to win each game. And Dallas, very reasonably, could lose 2. When you step back, it is worse than we think. Philadelphia should be done. Philadelphia in Baltimore's division would be done. In New England's division would be done. In San Francisco, Seattle's division would be done. In the Minnesota Packer division would be done. Philadelphia's got a quarterback that's broken, an offensive line, and a secondary, and a wide receiving core in major crisis all year. And they're a 10-point favorite, are the Eagles, to win this weekend. So there are those speculating. Remember, Dallas's quarterback has had a very good year. Carson Wentz is broken. Philadelphia has had massive physical crisis all year. Dallas, outside of Van Der Esch, mostly been healthy. So you start lining stuff up. There's a reason that Jerry, it's Wednesday. He goes on live TV. He didn't duck the interview. He wants the message out. There are those speculating if they lose to Buffalo tomorrow, they could fire Jason Garrett in season. I don't see that happening. I do think they beat Buffalo. But it is remarkable when you juxtapose the Eagles, who get Dallas at home before the end of the year in bad weather, and Dallas, this race should be over. This should not be close. One quarterback's broken. One's having his best year. One team's been decimated. One team's been mostly healthy. Very interesting in Dallas. All right, so every Thanksgiving we eat a lot. We gorge tomorrow, right? My game plan with Thanksgiving's always been eat 2 small meals. I'll eat a light Thanksgiving dinner, and then I'll go back at about 9:30 after a nap, and I'll have another one. So I'll eat twice tomorrow. I'll go less is more on both. I tend to be a less is more person. I don't stay out that late. I don't party that hard. I like nice stuff, but I'm usually in bed early. I'm a less is more guy. I've been arguing this with TV executives forever. Less people on TV, fewer voices. Don't put 13 people on a set. It gets lost. You ever watch CNN during their election coverage? They have like 42 people. Just give me, a real strong person and an analyst and maybe a third, and then I'm out. And let's talk about the election. So last night, the playoff committee comes out. Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Clemson 3, Georgia 4, Alabama 5, Utah 6. My takeaway is, as I've been saying all year, the committee wants 2 SEC teams in. And they're going to get 2 SEC teams in. SEC teams are getting in, 2 of them. That's what they want. That's what they've been doing all year. Meaning if Alabama beats Auburn and looks ugly, they'll get in over Utah regardless of what the Utes do. But college football has always in my life, less has always worked for college football because college football is the one sport that has urgency. You have to watch the games. You can't lose 2 games. Everybody this year, here's all I hear. We got to go to an 8-team playoff. 8 teams is the solution. More. I want you to think about this. Yesterday, when they made this release of the playoff rankings, none of us even liked the number 4 team this year. Georgia at home got smoked by a bad South Carolina team. The number 5 team, Alabama, is using a backup quarterback. They've played one good team. They lost. Utah lost to USC, and USC was on their 3rd-string quarterback. If you start looking at the teams ranked just below Alabama 5 and Utah 6, Penn State 9-2. Could sneak in if we had an 8-team playoff. Really? Penn State's played 2 really good teams. They lost to both. Minnesota's 10-1. If we had an 8-team playoff and they beat Wisconsin, they could get in. Minnesota started the year out of conference by struggling against South Dakota State, Fresno State, and Georgia Southern. They beat Georgia Southern 35-32. Wisconsin beats Minnesota. They could get into an 8-team playoff. They lost to Illinois as a 25-point favorite. You all want 8 teams. You all want more. College football has always been better with less. College football, even more so than we got 162 Major League Baseball games. We got 82 hockey games. We got 82 NBA games. NFL wants to add to their schedule and give us now, 17 or 18 games. College football has always been, you got to watch Saturday. You call your buddy, Clemson's down to Louisville. You all watch this game. If they lose this game, and you want to add more. Who would be in this year? A Minnesota team that struggled with Georgia Southern and lost to the best team they've played? I mean, what do you want? I look at college football this year, and I see 3 exceptional teams. Ohio State's the best football team I've seen. Clemson's the 2nd best football team I've seen, although it is hard to get your arms around Clemson because the conference they play in is just so awful, but I think they're great because they have a great coach, a great quarterback, and great playmakers. And then the 3rd best team I've seen is LSU, which has a regrettable defense. By SEC standards, a remarkably bad defense for a team that's going to win the SEC, but they're spectacular on offense, quarterback, running back, wide receivers. It's LSU, athletes everywhere. But we always want more. Ask yourself in an 8-team playoff this morning, who would be the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8 teams? Really? People struggling? People losing to South Carolina at home? People losing the only 2 games they've played against good teams, Penn State. Just a thought. Greg Cosell, we usually run him on Thursdays. He's going to come in. If you're a gambler, you bet games. If you're a fantasy football fan, if you just love football, always gives you little pieces of gold that you can take to your bets, to your fantasy football. To me, it's the NFL meat sandwich in sports radio in the country. Greg Cosell on a Wednesday is coming up next. 66% of men lose their hair by their mid-30s, but it's 2019, and thanks to medicine and science, baldness now is much more optional. How about this Black Friday? Secure the best deal of all, the best present of all, a healthier, thicker hairline. Hims helps guys be the best version of themselves. These are FDA-approved products. Best part, there's no awkward in-person doctor visit. Answer a few quick questions online, and a licensed physician reviews it and determines if a prescription's right for you. Right now, my listeners can get started. They've got a $5 complete hair kit just while supplies last. Just go to forhims.com/Colin. forhims.com/Colin. Again, prescriptions are subject to a doctor approval and do require online consultation with a licensed physician. He or she determines, all right, is it appropriate? Go to the website. They've got all the details, and they also have all the safety information. Hims helps guys be the best version of themselves with FDA-approved products.
Hey guys, if you're experiencing erectile dysfunction, you can now get treated anywhere. Like here, 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 even here. Okay, maybe not there. That's why we built Roman. So it's easy to get ED meds prescribed online, delivered to your door. Just visit GetRoman.com, chat with a U.S. licensed physician, and if treatment is right for you, you'll get genuine medication delivered in discreet packaging. Roman, let's take care of it. Get started with your free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV.
When you take Align, you have the support of a probiotic and the gastroenterologist who developed it.
Align naturally helps to soothe your occasional digestive upsets 24/7.
So where you go, the pro goes.
Go with Align, the pros in digestive health.
Any gift can make Christmas morning feel good, but only a gift from Bull & Branch will make it feel like Christmas morning. Every bedtime and morning time and me time and we time and story time and fun time and you get the picture. Organic cotton and ethical manufacturing make for softer sheets and nicer nights. So this holiday season, give more than a gift. Give better sleep. Merry all the time from all of us at Bull & Branch. Right now, get 30% off. See site for details.
The holidays are here, and so are Black Friday savings. With a gift center full of surprises and all the decor you could wish for, you can make this season the best ever. Buy a Ryobi battery 2-pack and get one of these tools free. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing.
This Thanksgiving, it's big-time action on the hardwood. At the Las Vegas Invitational on FS1. First, number 12, Texas Tech, looks to build on last season's historic run to the finals as they battle Iowa. Then Creighton takes on San Diego State. The Las Vegas Invitational, this Thanksgiving beginning at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Forget Black Friday. Come to the NordVPN Cyber Month party, the private online security party. No digital snoopers allowed. Grab the cyber deal at NordVPN and get 3 months free.
I'm not ready to lose my hair. Not now. But I never thought there was a real solution. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And I can get my treatment without leaving the couch. Go to Keeps.com to learn more.
This holiday season, Fox gets you in the moody.
I found the tree! It's beautiful. It looks like a crime scene.
Dennis Leary, Elizabeth Perkins.
Just family for dinner tonight.
Thank you for inviting us into your home. Last year at this time I was incarcerated.
Amen.
The Moody's Christmas starts December 4th.
Where are all the Christmas presents?
What?
They stole them.
Kind of a cool move.
On Fox.
Number 1 Ohio State takes on number 13 Michigan in the most anticipated rivalry game of the year. America's best pregame, America's best announcers, all part of Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
Behold.
Which one's for the TV?
Try this, boss. It's Amazon Fire TV Cube with Alexa voice control. It's easy. Alexa, turn on the TV.
Alexa, play Shrill on Hulu.
I believe it's defective because it just...
The Hyundai Santa Fe ranks highest in long-term dependability. And it also ranks highest in initial quality. Getting the best of both worlds. It's better in a Hyundai SUV.
I saved hundreds on my car insurance when I switched to Geico. And this is how it made me feel. It was like that feeling when you go to taco night at your favorite restaurant, and they're the best tasting tacos in the entire world. And just when you think it couldn't get any better, they bring you out another taco because they made an extra one.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. When you design a shirt to be worn untucked,
really tall, bigger guy,
you do it for everybody.
Broad shoulders, my waist is so skinny.
All shapes and sizes of people, all shapes and sizes of untucking.
I don't think I really have anything.
We fit all men at the perfect length. More than 50 size options. This holiday, Untuck It is the perfect gift for every body on your list.
Kick your Thanksgiving morning off on Fox. Khalil Mack and the Bears take on the Lions in an NFC North Division battle. It all starts with a special 2-hour pregame show live from New York beginning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Now let's talk Super 6 Thanksgiving. One of the questions for tomorrow's Bears-Lions game is which team will win and by how many points? Colin, who you got?
I'd probably go Bears, 24-20. You look at these two teams. What do either of them do well? Chicago's good defense. So I would take, when I get two teams I don't like, is there anything one of them does really, really well? By the way, Detroit's lousy, 3-6-1 in one-possession games. So they're not good late in games. I'll take Chicago. By the way, Tommy John is having their best Black Friday sale ever for my listeners. 25% off site-wide, TommyJohn.com, code HERD. And with that, we usually have him on Thursdays, but we don't have a Thursday show tomorrow. And I think if you bet football, if you're a fantasy football fan or just love football and want kind of a meat sandwich, the little bits and pieces of film study of Greg Cosell, 40 years at NFL Films, somebody I rely on for the draft. I rely on for a lot of my insight, and Greg Cosell is joining us. Greg, how are you? Pre-Thanksgiving, how are you?
Colin, I'm doing great. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Thank you very much. So we watched Dallas and New England. One of my questions with Dallas all year has been, what is their offensive identity? When you watch film, what do you think they think their offensive identity is?
I think they're struggling right now as to determining whether their offense still runs through Ezekiel Elliott or whether they believe that they can transition into a little bit more of a passing team, given the fact that their three receivers are among the top 2-3 receiving trios in the NFL. Yeah. The other issue I think they're struggling with that plays into this is the fact that for the most part over the last 3-4 weeks, they've not run the ball as efficiently as they had earlier in the season.
Yeah.
So I think they're struggling with exactly what their identity is. They had a really difficult time with New England. When you play New England, Colin, you have to be able to defeat man coverage. You can do that with scheme, or you can do that by finding your best individual matchups. They really couldn't do either, and Prescott had a bad game. In a game like that, you don't get a lot of throws, and when you do get those throws, you have to make them, and he missed them, and therefore they really struggle to move the football.
Now, they'll play Buffalo. We know that I've said this. The Bills play defense. I like their staff. Do they have a low ceiling with Josh Allen? But I go back to his last 6 games, 11 TDs, 1 pick. He was wild and erratic in college. He's certainly not as erratic as he was in college. I imagine the tape's pretty complimentary to Josh Allen.
Yes and no. I think that Allen still at times is scattershot and can be very erratic with his ball placement. He had an interception this week in which that was the case. He's less prone to be reckless and make those undisciplined plays that we used to see. But we don't know how he'll be in a tough game like this on the road. Obviously, the toughest game he's had this year theoretically was against New England, and the erratic element to his play and the interception showed up in that game. But the big thing that stood out from this past week, and it won't happen every week, but he had missed a ton of open deep balls this year, and that's been a problem with him, and he hit one this week. Now, you're not going to hit 4 or 5 of those a game, but you do get a couple of opportunities like that every week, and if he can hit those, that changes their offense. But he's still a little erratic, and he runs less, which is a good thing, but when he does run, he's very effective.
You know, I had watched Kyler Murray 2 times and Russell Wilson once give San Francisco's defensive line a little pause. Aaron Rodgers off a bye. That game was over in 8 minutes. Aaron did not complete a pass over 10 yards.
Correct.
He is completing 45% of his throws this year over 10 yards. Now, again, collarbone surgeries, maybe it's Matt LaFleur. Obviously, the offensive line, I think we've discussed, isn't as good. But when you watch the San Francisco game, it was like one of those early Tyson fights. It's just over. What was it primarily that you saw on film?
Well, I think the 49ers did some things a little bit differently in this game. I thought they really featured disguise and late movement to get to their zone coverage concepts. And again, it's not a matter of fooling a quarterback. You know, you don't go into a game saying, hey, we're going to fool Aaron Rodgers, and that's the foundation of our game plan. But there's a couple of times in every game, depending on the down and distance, depending on the field position, where if you show one thing and then get to something else, you can, in a sense, fool the quarterback. That happened a couple of times in that game. Plus, I think their offense has not been consistent enough running the ball in recent weeks, even though I love their backs. And they have not used Jones in the pass game over the last 3-4 weeks the way they were earlier in the year. And I think that's something they have to reassess. Aaron Jones is a very good receiver who can be detached from the formation, and they've not been throwing him the football and using him that way over the last 3-4 games. And I think that has really hurt their offense.
Yeah, they don't match up terribly well against physical defensive fronts. Philadelphia gave them problems. So San Francisco gives them problems. You don't want to have an identity where people can say, okay, this is what they don't do well. And it feels like with Green Bay, you attack them up front. They just don't. They fold a little bit. They don't feel like the same team. Is that fair?
Well, what a lot of teams are doing now, and it's not just the Niners or the Eagles, but a lot of teams, it's become part of the league, is they're lining up with fronts that almost dictate one-on-one blocking and pass protection across the board.
Yeah.
And if you have a weakness in your pass protection, and the Packers, to me, based on film study, are not quite as good up front as I think a lot of people think they are. I think then individual players can be exploited, and I think that's come to bite them at times.
I've always felt, I want to talk about the Saints, because in the last couple of weeks, there's a little pause with the Saints, and they lose to Atlanta, but I've always felt it is tough playing the same teams over and over in your division. And if you play Matt Ryan enough, he's going to beat you occasionally. And if you play Cam enough, he's going to beat you. And so when I watch a Carolina give the Saints real trouble, I'm like, well, Ron Rivera knows Sean Payton about as well as anybody in the league. So I always look at divisional games a little differently. Sometimes, Arizona for years just gave the Legion of Doom, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll fits because they'd seen every trick in the book Pete Carroll had. So I still think the Saints are really good, as I have my doubts with Green Bay and Dallas. What's the film say on the Saints today?
Well, I think the Saints are very good for a number of reasons. I think they're really well schemed offensively because the reality is they don't have a ton of weapons on the perimeter, although they do have dimensions. And I think that's an important point. Ted Ginn's not an 80-catch guy, but Ted Ginn can still run by people, and you see that every week. Even if he's not catching a 50-yard touchdown every week, that's a dimension that they do have. And even Smith, he can run a little bit too. Now, Cook has been coming on in the last number of weeks, and they've been using him much more, and he's one of those tight ends who can line up all over the formation, and he can cause matchup problems. He beat Eric Reed, the safety for the Panthers this week a couple of times, and Reed's had a good year at safety. And they've got a very good run game. The numbers might not suggest it, but they can line up and run the ball, and they play a lot with 6 offensive linemen, and that's something not a lot of teams do. They had 2 big runs this week out of 6 O-line personnel.
I want to shift to the Rams Monday night. I want to talk Rams, then I'll talk Ravens. Listen, New England's had an offensive line crisis this year. They're 10-1. The Rams have an offensive line crisis. They're unwatchable. Is it Goff? I hear everybody now Goff can't play. He's terrible. And I watched them against Mahomes a couple years ago on Monday night, and I'm like, looks like he can play to me. Primarily, if I said one or two things, this is why Goff and the Rams are a mess offensively, what would those 2 things be?
I would say 2 things. Number one, their offensive line has been a bit of a mess. And number 2, their total inability to run the football with any kind of consistency. And that's made Goff, who to me is a good thrower, but not necessarily a high-level talent. I think that's rendered him ineffective for the most part because I think Goff is, for want of a better term, a system player who needs the pieces to work. I think when the run game's effective and the O-line is effective and they can do what they ideally want to do, which is expand defenses horizontally and stretch them vertically and throw to open spaces in the middle of the field, when they can do that, they're effective. But if they can't run the ball and their O-line struggles to protect, Goff's not a very good, muddied, noisy pocket thrower.
No, that's fair. Okay, so let's switch to Baltimore. It feels like the league is playing catch-up in the middle of a season. Like when they first introduced the Wildcat, and for about 6 weeks, nobody could quite figure it out. Baltimore, I mean, this again is, they're against good teams. Lamar's completing 73% of his throws. And that's against good defenses.
Right.
Now, maybe that's muted a little bit this weekend against San Francisco, but it does feel like Greg Roman's done it again. He did it with Kaepernick. There's some guessing going on here. Eric Weddle said this week, I couldn't tell who had the ball. Were you kind of blown away by Baltimore on Monday night?
Well, I think they're so well schemed, and right now teams are having a difficult time figuring out the scheme, and the explosiveness of Jackson as a movement player, I think, probably catches teams by surprise. You can watch that on tape, Colin, and my guess is when you see it in person, it's a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's as explosive an athlete as we've ever seen at the position, and the scheme presents very defined reads and very defined throws for Jackson, and he's making those throws.
Yes.
Now, he's dropping in a few really good ones as well, but you watch their tape and receivers are open. It's really schemed. It's a very difficult defense to defend. And, hey, don't get me wrong, I'm not smart enough. I don't have the answer to this, so don't ask me what should you do. I'm not that smart, but it's so beautifully schemed. I think it might take an off season for teams to get a much better feel of how to defend this.
Yeah, no, that generally we do in the NFL, but it does feel like the league's playing catch up. Their receivers are often wide open. So let's go. It's funny. I've said this for years. I think Russell Wilson's one of the most underappreciated. Not now, but was for years.
Not anymore.
Yeah, he's a great player. But I hear a lot of these, and I always lean on you with this, and I think it's important for our audience. You come to me in the offseason, a year before everybody else, you come to me and say, here's the receivers, backs, quarterbacks I looked at, and you do this well in advance of the football season. You'll do it in the summer when we talk. I hear Tua, and I see, Tua is Russell Wilson. And give me your thoughts on this, because I I see some components of it, but he does get hurt and Russell never gets hit. Your thoughts on Tua?
Well, maybe you and I disagree on this, but I don't really see him as very much like Russell Wilson at all. I think that Tua, to me, and again, let's just watch the tape, and just so people understand, this past off season, not counting what he's done up in this season, but last season, I watched 6 games, all of Jerry Jeudy's past targets and all of Henry Ruggs' past targets. So obviously Tua was throwing the ball. So I probably watched 250 to 300 throws by Tua from his season before. I don't see him as Russell Wilson at all. In fact, if he were to become a great pro, I see him ending up being more like a Drew Brees. I think he's a rhythmic timing player. I think that's what his game is. Yes, he can move. And by the way, Brees could move in his youth a lot more than people can remember, I'm sure. But he's not Russell Wilson to me at all. I think that he's an executor of a well-schemed passing game with good timing plus ball placement, can make a second reaction play at times, but he's a very programmed player to me. And I think that he would end up being much more like a Drew Brees than a Russell Wilson.
Well, I like that. I like that a lot. That's interesting stuff. So I think we're done. 40 years.
Can you believe that? 40 years. I started when I was 5. Can you believe it?
That isn't a long time to work. I've lived in all 4 corners of the country. I've paid taxes in 9 states. 40 years. You can close your eyes and drive to work. You know the exits. You don't even have to watch when you drive to work. Greg,
and it's funny you say that. Sometimes that happens. I get to my office and I'm thinking, like, how did I just get here? I wasn't even thinking about it.
Greg, have a great Thanksgiving.
You too, Colin. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Here is Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Bill Belichick is a member of the panel selecting the NFL 100 all-time team.
Yes.
And he says researching and watching film of all these great players has made him an even better coach.
Oh, good Lord.
I learned a lot. It was a great experience. I watched a lot of film of players in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. Watched quite a bit of that over the summer and last spring, and it was very enlightening. And I think in a way, it's definitely made me a better coach from the things that I've learned. It's reinforced some things, and it's also opened my eyes to some, I would say, other areas of coaching.
So we're all doomed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Belichick got better. This is very interesting what the NFL is doing. It's I like that they're doing it for the NFL's 100 season.
Top 100 players of all time.
I mean, it'd be very discussable, obviously, once they release all of them.
That's why they do it. It's a good way for us to argue on sports. I heard a show yesterday arguing about it for 10 minutes.
I mean, it is. Well, we love lists. We love to argue over lists. It's our favorite thing in this entire business, to argue over lists. Because it's really once you get past 3 or 4, it's all kind of subjective.
Brady's the most, what would you say? He's the most rewarded player with the most, records.
Right.
Is he the best player? I mean, look, I could make an argument. The most dominating player I've ever seen was Lawrence Taylor.
Right. Most people would say that.
Or
I think
Jim
Bill Belichick
Brown
would probably agree with that.
Right. So it's always hard ranking because are we going for trophies? I mean, like Dan Marino, I'd make the argument Dan Marino's probably the greatest thrower of the football.
Right.
I mean, the ball flew off Dan Marino's arm.
But that's why these lists are so discussable, because what is the actual criteria? Because if